We are going to figure this out. Yes. We have young Prince Alaric in front of us here from last time, and we are cross-examining him. So let's go. Tyrion Cuthbert, Attorney of the Arcane. We're still on case 4. This is a long case, but we like it. We like it. Let's see. He said, "You think Lady Freyja cast magic right in front of me? Don't be a serf." All right. You may think the idea is absurd, Your Highness, but the defendant is clearly an expert in deception. She could have easily concealed her actions at some point during the night. Brief moment to say the incantation and perform the gesture would have been all she needed. Which, we know, the incantation, if you remember from last time, is to clap your hands together, and she would just randomly do that. Because I have observed it. I've seen her do it many times during that evening. She was refreshing her invisibility spell. All right. But I wasn't the only one watching her. He was under the careful watch of the Kingsguard, my brother, and Lord Steelwind. Wait, he was there? I thought he said he left. So that would be... Wait. Lucio isn't even here. There's Maranath, Eyetaker, Tracker, Lloyd, Jan, Leif. If you're casting invisibility and you know it, clap your hands. There you go. Aster, Arya, Eugene, Harold, Beatrice, Miriam, William, Wallace, Ruby, Celeste, Tyrion. And that's 101. Getting into the Pokemon rap. But now Lucio isn't on our people list. That's an oversight. Anyway. Familial bond. Yeah, clap both hands together as invisibility. She was under the careful watch of the Kingsguard. Okay. But would they have really noticed her casting one spell? The Kingsguard are the most vigilant knights in the kingdom. They are trained to watch and counter a mage's spell, but the defendant needed to target someone who was in another area. There would be no visual indication that she was using magic. But she would have still needed to perform the incantation and complete the gesture with her hands. He was pretty knowledgeable about the arcane arts, but as a prince of Weirengard, that was to be expected. But yeah, we conversed the whole night and didn't see her cast any magic. If I recall correctly, you and your brother were with her until she was arrested for the murder. What did you speak about? She told us stories about what she did while she was away. She was researching something. I forgot what she said, something about the old cult. The what? Do you mean the occult? Yes, that's it. She was researching ghosts and demons. Considering who her familiar was, that research must have paid off. Anyways, Your Highness, could you please add this to your testimony? If I must. She told my brother and how the occult told my brother and me how the occult are a fascinating phenomena. I didn't see her cast any magic. Wouldn't saying the occult is a fascinating phenomenon be a bit more grammatically correct? Come on, Tyrion. Don't be one of those guys who corrects other people's grammar. Yeah, we all say things incongruently sometimes. Incongruently? Okay. I felt like he might have been projecting a little. She's been through so much over the last few years, all because of her horrid father. You're clearly sympathetic to her situation. But you must have only been a toddler when she left 5 years ago. My brother spoke of her a lot. He told me all about her. I could tell from his face. He was really sad that she ran away. Even if it wasn't romantic, Aster clearly cared about her a lot. Steelwind must have had complicated feelings about that. Probably. She'd never do something like this. You and Lady Steelwind are just jealous. Well, I can't speak for Steelwind, but I am just trying to get to the truth. Liar! You just hate her because she's a noble, don't you? Lord Von Sanctus told me all about you. You just want to lock up nobles because you're jealous of our power. Yes, that's Lord Von Sanctus is definitely the guy who I would listen to for advice on anything, particularly playing chess. So he spoke with Von Sanctus frequently. That would actually explain a lot about his personality. Right. Celeste, what do you usually need to do to cast a spell? Honestly, there are lots of things that I need to account for. Stamina and focus are a big part of it. Assuming that she's in perfect condition, what's the bare minimum that she would need to do? Well, she would have to focus her magic, say the incantation, and perform the gesture with her hands, all at the same time. That did sound pretty conspicuous, but she must have hidden it somehow. Alright. The occult are a fascinating phenomena. Wait a minute. Occult are a... Oh! The occult are a fascinating phenomena. Oh! I get it! I get it! Ah! Objection! Cast a spell. A mage. I got it! Oh! Needed to speak an incantation. But there was nothing that said they couldn't say anything before or after it. Your Highness, according to your testimony, the defendant told you that the occult are a fascinating phenomena. Is that exactly what she said? I'm so pleased with myself. Word for word. Yes. Those stories of ghosts and demons she told us were quite interesting. They really stuck a court with me. I see. Well, even if they were interesting, your testimony proves that she did cast the invisibility spell that night. Are you deaf? I already told you. No one heard her say any incantations, nor did they see her perform any gestures. Unfortunately, your testimony proves the contrary. Beatrice Frege said an incantation and performed a gesture right in front of you all, without anyone even knowing it. What? Your Highness, there are two components required to cast invisibility. First, the caster must speak the incantation Occultare and clap both of their hands together. As I'm sure you noticed, the defendant has a habit of clapping both of her hands to calm herself. Now that I think about it, that habit must have come from constantly casting the spell. The defendant requires Maranoth to see, so she must constantly cast invisibility to keep him visible. Invisible. Cuthbert, you may have an explanation for how she hid the gesture, but she would have still needed to speak the incantation. However, she did speak the incantation. The witness's testimony proves it. What are you talking about? I never said that she spoke any incantation. Your Highness, the incantation for invisibility is Occultare. Now, recall what you said in your testimony. Oh, she's getting it. Ha ha ha! We've got, I can't believe I'm saying this, but we've got the defense on the ropes. She said, the occult are a fascinating phenomena. The pronunciation of that one phrase is identical to the incantation. I see. So she could have hidden the incantation within the conversation itself. And because her target was a creature that was outside of the ballroom, no one saw the magical effects. This meant that Maranoth had the means to murder William Frege, just as Eugene did. Having the means is completely different from actually having done it, Cuthbert. Very few people have the ability to shatter the display case to steal the sword of spell eating. And even fewer people had a familiar small enough to traverse the vents. Which also makes Haraldson's familiar an equally likely suspect. And unlike my client's familiar, he admitted to breaking into William's study that night. If your client's familiar is truly innocent, then why not have him testify before the court? Ha! Yes! We've had the monkey testify, now let's have the demon testify. I see. Well, it's not as if it's the first unprecedented witness we've had today. Is Maranoth willing to testify, Miss Tamora? Tamora deliberated with Beatrice and Maranoth. I couldn't hear what they were saying, but they were clearly in disagreement with each other. Just trust that demon, says Ruby, yeah. Maranoth in particular seemed to be the most vocal about his displeasure. Your Honor, unfortunately, Maranoth is unwilling to testify. Why the change of heart? My client's familiar may be a demon, but he's afforded the same rights as any other person. He is not obligated to testify. Maranoth was staring daggers at me, grinding his noticeably sharp teeth together. It felt oddly personal, for some reason. Why were they being so secretive all of a sudden anyway? A witness could refuse to testify to avoid incriminating themselves, but a refusal to testify was suspicious in and of itself. Tamora had no issues with Beatrice taking the stand earlier. Not to mention that Maranoth seemed to disagree with their decision the most. Demons supposedly take great pride in their ability to deceive and corrupt people. I see. Maranoth is well within his rights to refuse if that's what he truly wants. It is. Well, I suppose it's for the best. I doubt he'd be able to corroborate your story at all. Maranoth ground his teeth together more violently. It sounded like metal screeching against metal. Yes! So we're trolling a demon into working with us. I love it. Oh, it's so good. He's so good. Why? Considering his diminutive figure, I don't blame him for being a coward. But Mr. Cuthbert, could you please refrain from provoking the literal demon? Oh, it's fine, Your Honor. He can't actually do anything without his master's word. It's clear that Beatrice is the brains between them. He's basically just her servant. Shut your disgusting mouth, heavens born! Oh, no! Maranoth, what are you doing? I love this case. Oh my gosh, this case is so good. I will not stand here and be insulted by a bloody Heavensborn. Heavensborn? You've been called that before. I am still within my contract, and I will not flee from the likes of him. You want my testimony? I'll give you my goddamn testimony.
Objection.
Your Honor, my client does not consent to having a familiar testify. Tamora, didn't you say earlier that Maranoth is afforded the same rights as any other person? He's his own demon. He has a right to refuse to testify. He's the only one who can decide if he wants to exercise that right. Maranoth, please testify about what you were doing on the night of the murder. Gladly. Oh, here we go, witness testimony. I provided sight to my keeper while she spoke with the princess. I'll admit that she did cast invisibility on me during their conversation. She needed to keep me hidden, after all. By the way, have you noticed the testimony music's a little creepier right now? Oh. But I never left the room where my master was. Nor did I steal the sword of spell-eating. You have nothing on me, Heavensborn! You won't even have proof that I entered William Frege's study. Do you honestly expect us to take your word for it? Or do you have any evidence to support your alibi? I only speak the truth, Heavensborn. There were other mages other than my keeper that could have stolen the sword. And by your own admission, none of your witnesses saw me on the night of the murder. The one lacking evidence is you. You had a point. Well, wait, no, we have a dog who testified to seeing him. We have a dog. Actually, one individual saw him, and it was a big fluffy doggy. You had a point. I still needed definitive proof that tied him to the murder. Presenting contradicting evidence might not be possible. However, he was clearly lying in his testimony, and there was something strange about the way he was speaking. Why was he pausing so much? I wasn't seeing any thoughts through the eye. My Eye of Horus might not even work on demons. But maybe I could try to interpret the meaning of his words. Cross-examination, okay. I provided sight to my keeper while she spoke with the princess. Interpret.
Objection!
Oh. Your Honor, the witness's thoughts contradict the evidence. Mr. Cuthbert, the witness's statement was many things, but it was not contradictory. Right, I suppose I see what you mean. Okay. I'll admit that she did cast... Well, let's do this. Is this something that you frequently do? Yes, my keeper's accident left her completely blind. She looks through my eyes to see her surroundings. And did she look through your eyes while she was with the princess? Yes, she did. All right. I'll admit that she did cast invisibility on me. Wait, does that mean she normally casts invisibility every hour? My keeper is a powerful mage, and my pact with her has only made her stronger. Wow, that's actually really impressive. Really? Casting spells may look effortless, but continuously casting spells takes a lot of stamina out of the caster. She would really have to worry about Mage Blight when she did that. She must have built a lot of stamina if she can cast a high-level illusion every hour. I do like that there's no penalty system. Yeah, just be wrong, keep playing. Yeah, because you're going to save scum anyway. Why not? It makes sense. But I never left the room where my master was. And did your master leave the room while she was with the princess?
No. I'm sure you remember. My keeper was under the careful watch of the King's Guard and Lucio Steelwind.
Hello! Welcome. And you're maintaining that you never left the ballroom.
As I said, I never left the room where my master was.
Yeah, but he had a habit of pausing before he responded to you, but it only happened sometimes. Was that just the way he articulated his words? Or was it something else? Yeah. Nor did I steal the sword of spell eating. Beatrice is one of the few mages present who could shatter the glass.
Yes, but being able to do something and actually doing it are two different things.
He was right. I wouldn't be able to convict Beatrice until I could connect Maranoth to the murder. But I had a feeling that he was the one to give me that connection. You have nothing on me, Heavensborn. You don't even have proof that I entered William Frigasteady, okay? Why do you keep calling me that?
Oh, does the Heavensborn not know the nature of his blood?
Oh, Ruby, you know something. My blood? Was he referring to my abilities?
Oh, how marvelous. You don't know, do you? If you make a pact with me, child, I can tell you the nature of your blood, and much, much more.
But Mr. Cuthbert, please don't make deals with demons in my courtroom. I wasn't planning to, Your Honor. He clearly knew more about my lineage than I did, but making a deal with a demon was just asking for trouble. Pro tip, don't deal with the demons. He's definitely more direct than most witnesses. Yeah, but he's still clearly lying. And there's something off about the way he's speaking. He would often pause before saying certain statements. Okay, which one is the most suspicious? I'll admit... Nor did I steal, but I never left the room where my master was. Did cast invisibility. Is he casting any spells? Cauteria is anti-magic. Invisibility is occultare. Riterum. I mean, that's... yeah, okay. What about I never left the room where my master was?
Objection!
That's very literal. He would take pauses before certain statements, but not all of them. And more importantly, his word choice was different. Did he slip up? Maranoth, it looks like you misspoke and used the wrong word.
What?
Through most of your testimony, you referred to Beatrice Frege as your keeper, but you referred to her as your master during one statement. Why is that? For the first time, he didn't have a retort. Okay, I'll admit, I was actually just going off of he was being very literal. That was my thought. Like, he's being very literal. Like, the master, I never left the room my master was in. That is a very literal concept, right? But not that. Yeah. So, okay, I was off on that one, but that's okay. I'll ask you again. Did you leave the ballroom that night?
I didn't leave the room where my master was.
Even though I pointed it out, he was using the word master again. Why wasn't he correcting it? Did that mean he was intentionally using that term? Is his master not Beatrice? Why was Maranoth using the term master? Because Beatrice is not his master. There had to be a reason why. Beatrice is not Maranoth's master. Yes. Ooh! Ooh! If I took his words at face value, the master he was referring to wasn't Beatrice. And if Beatrice wasn't his master, then he really didn't leave the room where his master was. Maybe he can't actually lie here because of some rules. That might be true, actually. Yeah. He might literally not be able to lie. But why even bother making that distinction? He clearly had no moral hang-ups about committing murder. He could have just lied. Why wouldn't Marnoth simply lie? Hey, there you go. Demons apparently prided themselves on tricking and corrupting humans, so why wouldn't he lie in his testimony? Demons are not able to lie. Well, he clearly had every incentive to lie. Oh, let him win over the so-called Heavensborn, but why wouldn't he do that? Able to... Wait, demons are not able to lie. There we go. Demons were clearly... I did dragons. Which Celeste is, by the way. Still calling on that one. Still leaning on that. Demons were clearly different from humans, but why would they seriously have a limitation like that? It would explain why Tamora and Beatrice were so opposed to having him testify. There was only one way to know for sure. Witness, can you repeat the following statement for me? Tyrion Cuthbert's hair is green. Ha ha! The look! We got him! That wily defense can't do anything about this. Can't touch this.
What kind of ridiculous request is that?
Another pause. I'm afraid I must agree, Mr. Cuthbert. I'm just conducting a little experiment, Your Honor. So I'll ask you again, Marnoth. Say the following phrase. Tyrion Cuthbert's hair is green. Your Honor, Cuthbert is clearly making trivial requests to stall for time. His request is not worth a response for the witness. That's not what I'm doing, Tamora, and I think you know that. Marnoth, we truly don't know much about demons aside from the stories told in myths. So is it possible that demons are physically unable to lie? I'm sorry, Mr. Cuthbert, but that seems quite ridiculous. Why wouldn't the witness be capable of lying? I genuinely don't know, Your Honor, but his testimony speaks for itself. And he can easily refute my claim by granting my request. Say Tyrion Cuthbert's hair is green. Witness!
You said it yourself. Tyrion Cuthbert's hair is green.
That's not what I asked for, witness. Repeat the statement I told you word for word, nothing after or before it. Objection. Your Honor, the prosecution's argument is absurd. The witness is not obligated to fulfill such an outrageous request. I might be compelled to agree with you, Miss Tamara, if the witness wasn't clearly avoiding that request. Well, we're all waiting, Marnoth. You can easily prove me wrong by repeating my statement plainly.
You filthy Heavensborn!
Say it, Marnoth!
Tyrion Cuthbert's hair is... Tyrion Cuthbert's hair is... blonde!
Technically, it's a dirty blonde. Oh! Oh! Oh, man. I feel like the deal with its sunglasses should be slowly coming down at this point.
Oh, shut up!
Is Mr. Cuthbert correct, Marnoth? Are you actually unable to lie? I think his silence speaks for itself, Your Honor. Remarkable. I would have never imagined. And with that, proving my case becomes a much simpler matter. Marnoth, did you murder William Frege? I'm sure you understand, witness. Under these circumstances, staying silent is basically an admission of guilt. You have no reason to stay quiet, Marnoth. Tell him the truth. Oh.
Lady Beatrice, what are you...
I believe it's time to come clean, don't you, Marnoth?
I see. So that's your play.
Don't think you can just stall for time, Miss Frege. Marnoth has no choice but to answer the question. Do it, Marnoth. Tell the court the truth.
To answer your question, yes, I did murder William Frege.
What are you doing? Now, hey. This feels different on the other side, doesn't it? Having the client do something insane while the prosecution here is just looking like the cat that got the mouse. Oh, yeah. Miss Frege, does this mean you're confessing to the murder? Oh, Your Honor, I am not admitting to anything. Marnoth was the one who confessed. But your own familiar just... Let me ask you a question, Marnoth. Did I directly order you to murder my father?
No, you did not, Lady Beatrice.
What are you talking about? You're lying, aren't you? You said it yourself, Heavensborn. Demons are physically unable to lie. Ah! Damn it, she was right. Did she plan for this? She must have arranged things so that statement would be technically true. She could have asked someone else to give the order so she could have simply implied it. Either way, she could just plead ignorance and blame everything on Marnoth. Still, this isn't over. Oh, is that so? Let me tell you, this trial was over the moment Arya turned her blade against me. I don't care who you are, man, king, or demon, you're not going to get away with this. Oh, I do love the gravitas behind that, but I wonder how long it will last. Take your best shot, Heavensborn. Argument. Here we go. Beatrice Frege, you may not have technically ordered your father's murder, but you were clearly acting with malice. You brought something dangerous into the manor, something that you knew would harm your father. Oh, really? And what would that be? I didn't bring anything dangerous into Frege Manor. What was so dangerous that it implies lethal intent? Not the letter opener. What is so dangerous? Not the armbands of intellect. Well, is it Marnoth? You brought Marnoth into Frege Manor that night. You were clearly planning to murder your father from the start. I require Marnoth to see. That does not imply lethal intent. You brought a demon into that house, and as a result, your father was killed. That was hardly an innocent mistake. My client specifically asked her father if familiars were allowed. We even received a written legal confirmation beforehand. But he couldn't have possibly expected her to bring in a demon. He didn't specify not to do this. The presence of Marnoth did not break any of his rules, nor any laws made by the kingdom. Right you are, Tamora. I can hardly be blamed if my familiar acts without my knowledge. How can you be blameless in Marnoth's actions? He's your familiar. By that same logic, shouldn't we also blame Lord Haraldson for the actions of his pet monkey? If I recall, he broke into the study, tampered with the crime scene, and then left my father's body without reporting it. That's... Marnoth and Eugene are intelligent and sentient creatures. They have their own autonomy. Their keepers aren't legally responsible for their actions. Damn it. She was playing devil's advocate, but I suppose that was fitting for her. But you still cast invisibility to keep Marnoth hidden that night. Mr. Cuthbert, I always cast invisibility on Marnoth. I can't very well let people see him. Face it, Mr. Cuthbert, you have nothing on me. I did not commit any crimes during the Lord's Ball. Every crime related to the murder was committed by Marnoth. What about the theft? Someone used a powerful spell. Was it the sword of spell eating? The theft of the sword? Beatrice, Marnoth required your magic to break the wards guarding the sword of spell eating. You may be able to explain why you cast invisibility that night, but you can't explain why you cast an evocation spell powerful enough to shatter that display case. Oh, that. I'd almost forgotten. I plead guilty. What? To the charge of grand theft. I mean, I ordered Marnoth to help me steal that artifact so I could sell it on the black market. I would have never imagined that he used it to murder my father. Right. It didn't matter if she was found guilty of stealing the sword. The Slayer rule only took effect if she was found to be responsible for her father's death. Was there seriously nothing I could do? Marnoth will take the fall on Beatrice's behalf. Appeal to him? You can still do the right thing and tell the truth. Deflect. This still doesn't absolve you of bringing a demon into the Lord's Ball threatened. The sentence for first-degree murder is death. Are you really willing to die for your keeper's crimes? It still doesn't absolve you of bringing it... Let's do threaten. Marnoth, the sentence for first-degree murder is death. Are you really willing to die for your keeper's crimes?
Heavensborn, I think you'll find death to be somewhat less permanent for a being such as I. Even if I could truly die, a fate much worse than death awaits me if I fail.
What? Oh, those three are a pain to argue against when they're together. I couldn't break their confidence at all. So, do you have anything else, Mr. Cuthbert? I didn't think so. Your Honor, it appears we found the true culprit. I can't believe you killed my father, Marnoth. I'm so cross with you.
Death will actually be very inconvenient for me. It's going to take me a whole weekend to sort this all out.
Don't worry. I forgive you. Now then, is there any reason why this trial hasn't ended already, Your Honor? Come on, don't you have anything else? There was one thing.
Damn it.
Not again. Oh, is that all you can do now? Glare at me? What? Marnoth, what did you just do?
I've been watching him. He's been using a trick from the Domain of Radiance. But it's weak. Horus's blessing won't work here, Heavensborn.
You... It looks like that was your last piece, Cuthbert. No, this can't be how it ends. Not after I'd come this far. What is it you like to say in these situations? Checkmate, Cuthbert. Well, I have to say, this was one of the more eventful trials I've overseen. Like, it took us 3 weeks to get through it. It was many things, if not enlightening. But I suppose it all ended the same. Come on. I need to think of something. Anything. While I find the defendant's actions extremely suspect, I must agree with their argument. Aside from the theft of Lord Haraldson's exhibit, none of Miss Frega's actions that night were illegal under Weirengard law. And there's no proof that the defendant is responsible for her familiar's actions. With these revelations, I see no room for debate. We will be taking a brief recess. I will announce my verdict once we resume. Damn it. Was this seriously how it's going to end? After everything I'd gone through to get here? The world is bleak, merciless, and unforgiving. But don't let it extinguish the flickering flame I can see within you. Use my eyes. Peer beyond the divine gate just as I once did. Use it to build your own path to happiness. Marnoth called me a Heavensborn, and my mother told me that there was a light within me. I had no idea what that even meant. What even was the divine gate? Why do I have the Eye of Horus? Why was I blessed by a god that I didn't know about? I've been so lost lately. I thought I was finally figuring out who I was. But all of this, everything I've been working towards, it was all a lie. I'd spent my whole life trying to be like Miss Tamora, but she wasn't even like her. No. She just wanted to raise me into a tool for the Eye Taker. She was never my guardian. She was never my mother. My real mother died years ago. Was Eris right? Was I just a pawn? Looking back on it, I had no idea what to do with myself the moment my mother died. I just made mistake after mistake. Leaving RNO, trusting Tamora. I'd always just done as I was told. I'd never once made a path for myself. The resolve of Tyrion Cuthbert. But you saved Celeste, Wallace, and Drek again, all when no one else would stand against the tide. Was saving them a mistake? You fought for a dream that didn't exist, but that doesn't mean that you can't make it real. It's true that you followed Tamora's lead, but you've always done what you thought was right above anything else. You wouldn't have stood up to that criminal if you truly didn't know right from wrong. And you wouldn't be standing here if you'd just done as you were told. What do I do? I'm not going to tell you that. You already know the answer. You've always known the answer. The light within you will show you the way. This was not how this story would end. I took a deep breath and relaxed my thoughts. How do you prove that Beatrice ordered Maranoth? Yeah, that was nice. Ruby did say at the beginning that relying on the eye would become a problem, and then here it is. It's like, oh, I can always just, like, psychically make them admit to something that I can then make them admit to verbally. How do you prove that Beatrice ordered Maranoth? Okay. Situations could seem hopeless sometimes, but there was always a way to win in the end. How do you prove that Beatrice ordered Maranoth? Use deduction. Tell a lie. Use physical evidence that connects Beatrice and Tracker. Oof. Oh man, this is tough. Okay, I gotta think about this. How do you prove that Beatrice ordered Maranoth? How do we prove Beatrice ordered Maranoth? Is Tracker on here? Harold, Beatrice, Leif, Tyrion. Tyrion and Maranoth. It separates, that acquit, that kills, connects, that separates. Tell a lie that connects Tyrion and Maranoth. That'd be kind of funny. No matter what I did, it wouldn't mean anything unless I proved one fact. I needed to prove that Beatrice ordered Maranoth to kill her father. I would need something concrete to concretito prove that. Testimony wouldn't be enough. All right, so not testimony. Use physical evidence that connects Beatrice and Maranoth. In order to convict Beatrice, I needed to prove that she was responsible for Maranoth's actions. People always leave trails. Actions always leave evidence. There had to be something that proved Beatrice gave Maranoth the order, even indirectly. Beatrice's relationship with Maranoth was clearly different than the relationship between two humans. I expected that to be a deeper answer, too. Yes. It was just like, yes, prove that there is a connection between the two people who we were trying to prove there is a connection between. Wow. What is unique about Beatrice's relationship with Maranoth? There was a specific way that relationship worked. They're mutual allies were facilitated through a pact? No.
What if...
Their connection is facilitated through a spell. No, Beatrice's relationship with Maranoth wasn't the same as one between humans. It wasn't even the same as one between a mage and a familiar. There was something special about... Oh, it's a pact. There's a specific way their relationship works, or their pact, as Maranoth calls it. Wasn't there something that someone said? But what was it? Who told you something about demonic pacts? Oh, it was Harold Haraldson. All right, the Sword of Spell Eating is said to have been forged from a pact between a demon and a mage. Isn't making a deal with a demon just asking for trouble? They'd definitely betray you the first chance they got. Legends say that demons often drafted blood contracts for this reason. Wait, do you mean like a legally binding contract? The concept is similar, but once you sign a blood contract, both you and the demon are magically compelled to fulfill its terms. That's right, Beatrice must have signed a blood contract with him. A soul-binding document that must describe how their relationship works. Someone as meticulous as Beatrice would have had those terms clearly laid out. What can I use to obtain Beatrice's blood contract? But it's not as if they'd ever show it to me. It would be a tall order to even prove that blood contracts even exist. What can I use? Not Divine Edict. Yes. It's a spell we have. Because it Marnoth, dweller of Avernus.
Wait, what are you doing?
By the radiance of Horus, I issue upon you a divine edict. Release thy guards and manifest your blood contract with Beatrice Frege. Beatrice's blood contract. Oh! Yay, it's magic. It's a legal document written in blood. It's also 50 pages long. Luckily, you somehow know the excerpt of the exact section you need. Marnoth is prohibited from killing or injuring any and all humans. Beatrice Frege can designate individuals that are exempt from this rule. And exempted individuals will only remain so for 24 hours. After that, Marnoth cannot harm them unless told otherwise. Oh, this is devastating. Ho, ho, ho. Oh, it's terrible. In a surge of radiant light, a stack of papers appeared on the table in front of me. It was several pages long, and the writing was a sharp crimson red. It would have been impossible to read through this in time, but somehow I knew every detail of Beatrice's contract. Well done, my heavens-born. You may yet survive the encroaching shadows. What in the nine hells was that?
You? When did you learn how to...
Mr. Cuthbert! What just happened? Your Honor, I just manifested the witness's blood contract with Marnoth. Yeah. Yeah. What? Blood contract? You can think of it as a legally binding document. It lays out the terms of the pact between Beatrice Frege and her familiar. I don't understand, Mr. Cuthbert. How were you able to do such a thing? There was no legal precedent for this. I would need compelling evidence. Doing this could very well change everything about my life. But with House Frege's resources, William had caused nearly thousands of innocent deaths, all just so he could get ahead of House Steelwind. I couldn't let Beatrice or the Eye Taker get a hold of that kind of power. There was only one path forward. Your Honor, my family doesn't hail from Weirengard. My ancestry originates from the theocracy of Lumina. Cuthbert, what are you doing? Tyrion, what? I'm a magic user known as a cleric of Horus, and I used my divine magic to manifest the blood contract between Beatrice and Marnoth. The theocracy? A cleric of the theocracy is practicing law in Weirengard? He's a traitor, an agent of our greatest enemy. Objection! Your Honor, the defense's argument is such. Marnoth was acting alone, therefore the defendant was not to blame for his actions that night. However, take a look at page 7 of this blood contract. It specifies that Marnoth is prohibited from killing any and all humans. There's only one scenario where he can do so, and that's when Beatrice Frege designates someone to be exempt from this rule. You, Beatrice Frege, you didn't directly order Marnoth to kill your father, but you implied it by telling Marnoth by permitting the murder. Not only that, you did so within the 24 hours of the Lord's Ball. Your intent was clear. You brought Marnoth into Frege Manor with full knowledge that he could and would kill William Frege. And that is checkmate. Oh, Mr. Cuthbert. After everything you've just said, I don't understand how you can expect any in this room to trust your words. I don't need you to trust my words, Your Honor. I only need you to do what you've always done, and that's to acknowledge the evidence I've presented. Your Honor, you know the implications of what I just revealed. You know what it could do for me. Why else would I do something like that if I weren't telling the truth? The judge cursed under his breath. Despite the lack of any legal precedent, I have no choice but to acknowledge the prosecutor's divine magic. Do you have anything to say in your defense, Lady Frege? Do not call me that. It's almost funny that you hate your name that much. Your entire plan depended on your claim to the Frege estate. Do you have any inkling of what you've just cost me? Everything has been ruined because of you! You're just another noble. trying to steal power for yourself. Don't you dare lump me together with those tyrants. We wouldn't have just liberated House Frege. We would have liberated everyone. Miriam, Leif, Arya, even Aster. Our system is broken. The only way we can fix it is by burning it down from the inside. As long as the Four Pillars grip our kingdom, as long as King Olivier sits idly on his throne, this suffering will only continue. Lady Frege! As the prosecutor, I should warn you. You don't want to add treason to your list of crimes. It doesn't matter. I'm done either way. Heavensborn, look at page 46 of the blood contract. By accepting this pact, Beatrice Frege forever binds her soul to the abyssal hells. If Beatrice Frege fails to pay her debt by claiming House Frege and all of its assets, her soul, her mind, and her life will be claimed by the Empress of Discord? The contract went on to name several parts of House Frege's holdings. There was very little room for ambiguity. Arya was almost right. She just jumped to the wrong conclusion. My debts were never to the Eye Taker. They were to the abyssal hells themselves. Why would you agree to something like this? Yeah, what? Because I miscalculated. I know it was you. It has your name written all over it. You paid civilians to put in false reports of insurrections to the crown. You paid off representatives in the House of Lords to vote in favor of sending Steelwind soldiers to those regions. And you paid mercenaries to assassinate beloved figures to enrage the common folk and incite those riots. It took me a while, but I've got proof that indisputably connects it all to you. It would be a shame if this information fell into Lucio's hands.
You think this feeble attempt at blackmail will frighten me? I've dealt with far more formidable adversaries than you. There's nothing I can't solve with House Frege's resources.
What are you talking about? Do you seriously think Lucio will stand idly by while you steal the crown from him?
It's clear your time away from the manor has taught you nothing. Everyone can be bought. With my money, I'm practically a god.
My father was clever. He knew how to manipulate people. He knew how to turn them against each other. No one knew this better than my sisters and I. I saw him as this unstoppable, tyrannical force, but I never even considered one possibility. William Frege was an arrogant moron, so drunk off his own power that he wouldn't acknowledge anyone as a threat. He honestly thought he could buy his way out of his conspiracy being revealed. I could have sent this information to House Steelwind and the king. He would have surely been executed for treason. But I was running out of time. I needed to inherit House Frege soon. I felt trapped. I felt angry. I just needed something to change. A blood contract is still a legal contract, isn't it? What? If it's a contract, we can dispute it. We can find some kind of loophole to get you out of it.
What?
Trying to redeem the enemy you just defeated? You really are a Heavensborn. I'm sorry, Mr. Cuthbert, but I won't accept your help. What? Why? We can at least try, can't we? Did you seriously come this far just so you could die? I can't believe it. Beatrice is going to have her soul tortured for all eternity by a Discord admin. Oh, it's the worst.
To dispute a blood contract is to bet your own soul. If you fail to render it null, your soul will be dragged to hell alongside hers. Even your divine blood won't save you from that fate.
But still, I can't just... You've beaten me, Mr. Cuthbert. I won't drag anyone else down with me. Not you, not Leif, not Miriam. Despite everything, I still have my pride. I believe there's no further need to prolong this trial. Bailiff, please escort Lady Frege and her familiar to a holding cell. I'll be passing my verdict shortly. Hey, are you okay? Yeah, as okay as I can be. I still feel uneasy about how things turned out. Didn't feel quite like the victory I was hoping for. Honestly, every case I've defended felt that way. Maybe that's just how the world was. I fought against the demons, but I still felt like I'd lost. Cuthbert, we need to talk. What's done is done, but the eye taker isn't going to take this lying down. I know it's a long shot, but maybe if you talk to him, he'll... No. Cuthbert, this is serious. He's going to send people after you. Dangerous people. You can't just ignore this. How old were you when your real mother was executed? 10 years old. Back then, you barely knew Tamora. She was the adult in that situation, and what did she do? Instead of allowing you to process your grief and move on, she fed your anger and hatred for the nobility. Tamora took you away from your only friends and isolated you from society. Do you think she really loves you? Please just listen to me and shut up. Tyrion, how could you do this? How could you work with criminals? Cuthbert, everything you told me, all those ideals about protecting the weak, it was all a lie. Everything Commander White said about you was true, wasn't it? I'm just trying to... All of the confusion, all of the frustration over not knowing anything, it all boiled over. I don't want your help. As I yelled at her, my voice echoed throughout the lobby. Everyone turned silent. I gave up everything for you. My childhood, my home, my happiness. I left it all behind to chase the ideal that you told me you were fighting for. But it was never real, was it? You made me throw away everything, all for a damn lie. But I'll make it real, and I'll do it without you. Tyrion, Her voice was breaking. It was the first time I'd ever seen her like this. She reached out to me. I just stepped away. You never cared about me, did you? All you cared about was using the Eye of Horus. That's not... Shut up! I don't want to hear any more of your damn lies. Go away. Get the hell away from me. I never want to see you again. Without a word, she walked out of the courthouse. Tyrion. She reached out her hand to mine, but she hesitated. Do you think Celeste will ever love you? Do you think she has the luxury of playing hero with you? Or did you actually think that she enjoyed spending time with you that much? Tyrion, you have to look at this rationally. The support and affection she's given you have been to keep you as an employer. No. What? Tyrion? Is everything really going to be okay? It will be. I'll get you that acquittal no matter what. Man, king, or god? Yes. Man, king, or god. There. What about that? I immediately moved my queen to respond. Checkmate. Damn it. Tyrion, are you okay? I know you're not, but it's fine. It's not fine. Does it have something to do with what happened to your mom? The last 2 nights you've been calling out for her in your sleep. Please, just talk to me. My hands were trembling. Why was I so scared right now? I felt Celeste gently hold my shaking hand from behind me. It was warm and comforting. It was that same sensation that I'd felt back then. I took a deep breath. I'm not gonna do that, Miss Tamora. As she hesitated to take my hand, I softly grasped hers. She smiled as I took hold of it. She seemed glad I didn't pull away this time. My arms moved without thinking. Oh, it's a new sprite. I pulled her into a hug. Tyrion! Sorry. I just really need this right now. Could I stop? No. It's just... People are staring at us. Who cares? They're nobles. They're gonna hate us no matter what we do. I still wasn't sure what was gonna happen next. But maybe I didn't need to, even if Tamora's ideal was a lie. Hey, Celeste. There's been something I've been wanting to tell you about. What is it? It's hard to explain, really. I don't even know where to begin. But it's about where I came from and what I can do. I have this ability called the Eye of Horus. Even if that ideal was a lie, I wasn't going to give up on making it real. I couldn't trust Tamora anymore, but I didn't have to do this alone. Celeste was by my side, and Arya had more than proved she was worthy of my trust. And I'm sure I would find more allies in the future.
What a fine mess this is. That kid has completely and utterly ruined everything. As much as Tamora hates it, we're gonna need to put him in the ground.
I don't think that will be necessary.
Sorry, love. I know you're fond of him. But he crossed me. He's going to have to pay the price.
I think you've misunderstood me, Father. I meant that this facade has run its course.
What? What the hell?
Is something wrong, Father?
Who the hell are you? You look nothing like my daughter, so why?
It happened centuries ago, I believe. Your great ancestor wanted the crown for himself. He entered an accord with me.
What are you talking about?
But fate seldom bends to mortal desire, I'm afraid. Poor Lord Lyran's scheme was laid bare. The banners of his house were torn down. His very name was stricken from the annals of history. He was supposed to give me Wierengard, but I had to settle for his bloodline.
Lyran?
John Lyran, oh.
How do you know about my name? No one knows about my name, not even my real daughter.
It's been centuries, but I haven't forgotten, John. Every soul in your bloodline belongs to me, including your daughter.
You bastard, what did you do to her?
What I do to all my prey. I made her suffer.
What?
Do you know what she was crying out for you for months? I made her watch, you know. I made her watch as I took her place. All while the father that she so desperately called out for forgot who she was. All while my minions slowly and painfully tore her soul apart, piece by agonizing piece.
You monster!
I enjoyed her torment while it lasted, but even that couldn't satisfy me. What I really crave is the blood of the divine.
That's what this is about? That stupid kid?
But I can't have you kill my dear Tyrion just yet. At least not until I'm done with him.
You goddamn demon, I'll kill you!
This man is your enemy. Your life's goal is and always has been to exact revenge on him.
What the hell are you talking about? You! I lost everything because of you. They kicked me out of the Inquisition because of your false testimony. What? Let go of me! You killed my entire family. I won't let you get away with this. What are you talking about? I didn't do anything.
Hey, isn't that the noble who killed all those children? He already got released by paying off a judge.
What are you all talking about? Get away from me!
Don't lie to us. We know what you did.
No! Stay away! Ah!
We finally entered the final act, my dearest Tyrion. And from what I've seen, I think I know exactly how I'm going to break you. Severed ties. Oh, that was quite the case. Whoa. So as we know, the Eye Taker, as I predicted, Eye Taker was not the actual big bad. It's Eris. Yep. Make a sensa. In the kingdom of Wierengard, there was a gulf between what was lawful and what was just. People suffered, people died, all on behalf of the corrupt powers that ruled over us. The Lord of Cornhaven. Hey! Pierce! We haven't heard from him in a while. He's still alive. Was drunk on the power of his station. He killed his friend the moment that power was threatened. The headmaster of the academy was cruelly thrown away, forced to realize that he built his legacy on borrowed authority. He committed unforgivable acts to cling to it. The Duke of Commerce, his people were no different than the gold within his coffers. In his hunger, he nearly sacrificed hundreds to sit upon a hollow throne. So was Eris the master of that other demon then, and she was at the ball all night? Still not sure on... Yeah, well, Eris was at the ball. We know that. She was there. We also know... I'm pretty... Well, okay, we don't know. My speculation is him saying the master. I was with my master all night. Eris actually is his master. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. Frega's inheritor had ambitions of grandeur and had proven herself worthy, yet she was stripped of all her power all the same. It drove her to seek liberation in hell. Even the evilest demons were not responsible for the rot within Wierengard. They only revealed what was always there. People feared becoming prey, and that anxiety suffocated them. Reality had always demanded compromise. Some learned to numb themselves. Some learned how to exploit the world's cruelty. Some felt desperate enough to sell their soul to the devil. That would also imply that Eris was in Frega's room when he died. Yes, there is some very interesting implications there. It was a rigged game, and sometimes virtues like law or justice felt so alien that they might as well have been a fiction. Even if they were, I wanted to embody those ideals all the same. Case 5, Attorney of the Arcane. Tyrion. It's almost noon. Are you going to get out of bed? I shifted under my blanket, leaving its warm embrace would surely kill me. I had to admit, I couldn't spend the rest of my life in this bed. Eventually, I'd have to return to the world to do anything. But I wasn't going to knock over the first domino in that chain. Not yet. Someone is actually here to see you. I'm not interested. I'm taking another mental health day. At the rate you're going, it's going to turn into a mental health month. I get that you're feeling down, but you've got to get out there. We can't keep freeloading off of Arya. Oh, they're living with Arya? Why not? Isn't her family rich? That's a bit rude, but I suppose I can overlook it this time. Steelwind? My longtime rival walked into my room, immediately rolled out of bed and fell to the floor trying to avoid her eyeline. I had my pride, and she was the last person I wanted to see me like this. Lying on the floor, I tried my best to brush my hair through my hands. After a while, I just stood up. Tyrion, pants! Right, sorry. Steelwind winced as she politely turned her head away. She and Celeste walked out of the room. We'll give you some time to ready yourself. That was certainly something. It's not great, but I don't know what else to do. I've just been protecting the house until he snaps himself out of it. Have there been any incidents with intruders? Nope. I expected the Eye Taker to send someone, but the streets have been quiet. Maybe they know your people are watching the house? We'll just have to hope that that will be enough of a deterrent. Have you seen Ruby lately? I have. She's still practicing. I've even faced her in a few trials. I think she might be colder than usual, but it's hard to tell with her disposition. I don't know what to do. It might be best to give both of them time. A lot has happened. After taking some time to wash my face and clean my hair, I walked downstairs to my living room. Well, Steelwind's living room, technically. Celeste and Steelwind were sitting at the dining table. Sorry about that. Let's talk. Tyrion Cuthbert. Wait, no. Hang on, look at my attorney's runestone. It's an attorney's runestone. It proves that you're a certified attorney. It does, doesn't it? That was incredible. All right, let's drop a save, too. All right, talk. Are you doing well, Mr. Cuthbert? You seem... I'm fine. Of course. I just couldn't help but notice your absence. You haven't taken on any other clients since Beatrice's trial. I'm not even sure if I'm going to practice law anymore. What? I only did this because Tamora told me to, and now... My words trailed off. Did you not enjoy it? You were very skilled at it. I know, but I need more time to think about this. Have you considered becoming a prosecutor? You did a remarkable job of prosecuting Beatrice. If she'd asked me that last year, I'd just laugh at her offer, but Beatrice showed me that there were criminals that needed to be brought to justice. Steelwind was an iron wall of an attorney. She never had to exploit the system like the other prosecutors of the Crown did. Following her example might not be a bad idea, but a part of me was also tired of following in someone else's footsteps. I'll think about it. Arya, have your injuries been healing well? Yes. Nightgrave's skill in necromancy is quite remarkable. I'm glad I introduced him to House Asclepius. House Asclepius specializes in the study of necromancy. After Nightgrave's expulsion from the academy, I thought it was only right that he be allowed to continue his studies. Right, he mentioned that he owed you a favor. It was only logical. It'd be a waste to let someone of his talents fade into obscurity. Even after everything that had happened at the academy, he was still following his own path. Even so, should you still be moving around like this, you should take some time off to recover. As much as I would like to, there's been a recent uptick in cases of mage blight lately. Mage blight. I recalled hearing about that many times. If a mage exceeded their stamina by overusing their magic, it would cloud their mind and send them into a violent frenzy. The nobility has been trying to suppress information about these incidents. If I'm not there, there's no one to keep the Inquisition from capitulating to their demands. Celeste McCoy. I was actually surprised to see you here, Celeste. Well, I can't just leave him alone anymore. He ticked off a criminal overlord. They're definitely going to send someone after him. And he really can't take care of himself right now. Your thoughts are leaking. Get out of my head. What? It's nothing. I am surprised, though. Not many people should slight the Eye Taker and live. He's been known for taking swift retaliation against his enemies. We're hoping he's laying low after his plan with Beatrice fell through. Either that or Ruby's doing what she can to protect him. Supposedly, he's been absent from many of his enterprises. Either way, he'd need to be dealt with eventually. Ruby tomorrow. By the way, Tyrion, Ruby sent another letter. Do you want to put it with the rest? Right. Have you spoken to her since the trial? Could we talk about something else? Of course, my apologies. Oh, the tea's ready. Oh, thank you. Some tea sounds lovely right now. Right. I was totally making it for you guys. She trotted to the kitchen, taking 2 more cups out of my cabinet. She was making it for herself. Okay. You guys better enjoy this. These are my last bags of... As she was carrying the cups of tea to us, she stumbled and slipped on a scroll case lying on the floor. She caught herself, but the teacup slipped out of her hands. The boiling liquid is airborne, and headed right toward my face. Fikakwa! Celeste's index finger shot to point at the airborne tea. Her magic took hold, and the molten tea froze just inches from my face. She let out a sigh and slowly started to twist her hand. She magically guided tea back into their cups. You really need to clean this place. I'm your bodyguard, not your maid. Right. Sorry about that. That was shaped liquid, wasn't it? Yeah. Oh, yeah. 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 That's the spell that participated in killing her dad. That's a bit rough. Oh, I never expected you to... I know. But it's just too convenient not to have, and my expertise is transmutation. She's really opened her mind about learning new spells. I remember when I first met her, she only knew how to cast Mage Blade. She hated her magic back then. I never imagined how diverse her repertoire would become because she's a dragon! There was another knock at the door. I could have really done without all the visitors today. I'm already up, I'll answer it. Well, whoever they are, I'm not going to give up any more of my lotus tea. I looked through the peephole. It didn't look like anyone else was there. I slowly opened the door. A chain kept it partially locked. No one was on the street, but there was a small letter in my mailbox. I quickly snatched it before shutting the door. It was an envelope sealed with candle wax. There was a crest on it. It was the insignia of House Pierce! Oh, he's coming back! I quickly opened the letter and read it. Despite clearly being written by Pierce, the paper had been torn in half, but the message was clear. I hope you understand. I would have never contacted you unless I had no other choice. I know the truth behind McCoy's true parentage, and I'm aware of how vital this information is to you. As you know, my execution is scheduled for next month, and I'm running out of time. I want to trade this information with you. In exchange, you will grant me my freedom. Meet me in the private prayer room within the Grand Cathedral of the Scaled Lord at 2 p.m. You will save me from my fate, or else... blank. What? Or else something. If he thinks for a second that we'd even think of helping him, I know how you feel, but aren't these the answers you've been looking for? I don't care! We're not gonna help him! That was never an option, but there's clearly more to this. I agree. How was he able to find out in the first place? The truth is, Celeste, I've also been looking into your parentage. What? I'm sorry for not telling you, but I didn't want to raise your hopes. Even with the resources available to me, I couldn't find any information regarding her birth. So if you couldn't find anything, how was Pierce able to? House Pierce is low on the political hierarchy. He shouldn't have access to the resources I do. He was ruling lord of the land the McCoy Tavern is on. That's true. But I still find this whole situation is quite suspect. Why would he ask for my help? I was the one who indicted him in the first place. Even if I did agree to help him, it would be nearly impossible for me to get him an acquittal. It would be a conflict of interest. He must be desperate. His execution is scheduled for next month, after all. It's possible that he reached out to Tamora as well. I can't believe he set up a meeting at the Grand Cathedral, today of all days. Why? What's happening there? I'm sorry, but it's not my place to tell you. Hurry up. Can I talk with Tyrion alone for a minute? Of course. I'm sure you have much to discuss. I should also start heading to the cathedral today. I can't believe he'd use what happened as an opportunity. What happened, huh? Good luck. What happened? Huh. I'm sorry. I'm sure this is just bringing up bad memories for you. We should meet with him. Are you sure? We're not going to help him, obviously, but I had an idea. He's probably really scared of his execution, right? He's even desperate enough to ask you for help. Okay, pause. I don't think he was asking us for help, actually. I don't think so. I don't think so. At all. No. I doubt that. The reason for that is, yeah. The reason for that is the letter is torn, so we don't know actually who he addressed it to. So I'm feeling like there's more to it, and I think this letter got delivered to Tyrion as kind of a goofy thing. Yeah, hang on. I suppose that's true. So think about how stressed he would be if you showed up and refused to help him. I could use the Eye of Horus on him. We can get the info we need without having to give him anything. But are you really okay with this? You'll have to see him again. I'll manage. It'll be worth it if we can finally get the answers I'm looking for. This letter had already gotten her hopes up, but there was no guarantee that he actually knew anything. I was worried about how this might affect her, but it was ultimately her decision. She'd done a lot for me. This was the least I could do. So this is the Grand Cathedral of the Scaled Lord. Have you never been here before? The Church of Bahamut wasn't that popular in my hometown, and I'd never been the religious type. What about you? It never really caught on with me. Apparently my roots tied to the Celestials. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. He certainly has the looks for it. Your thoughts are leaking again. Can you stop? I can't exactly turn it off, you know? Do those mental exercises I told you about. I'm a little annoyed that you've been looking into my mind for the last few months without telling me. It's not something I can tell people about recklessly. You and Tamora are the only ones who know. Wait, I'm at the same level as Ruby? Now, one thing that's a little weird here is, it feels like there would be more repercussions, don't you think? For Tyrion revealing that he's a cleric of the enemy nation. Like, you know? It's a little weird. It's a little weird that that isn't a bigger deal. Right now, you're much higher than her. Okay. That seemed to add a cheerful stride to her step. We approached the gates of the Grand Cathedral. There was a large blockade walling off the entrance. A large crowd of sightseers had gathered around the gates. Maybe, I bet, Lucio might actually be protecting him. That's true. Yeah. Yeah. It's closed off. Is there some kind of event going on? I recalled Steelwind mentioning that she was heading here as well. The nobility must have been using the cathedral grounds for some kind of private event. It might explain why Pierce wanted us to meet us here. It's probably secluded from prying eyes today. Tyrion Cuthbert. As we approached the blockade, one of the knights noticed us. He looked Celeste and me up and down. We've been expecting you. I see. I exchanged glances with Celeste. She raised her eyebrows at me. I just shrugged. We went past the gate and into the cathedral. The walls of the cathedral nave towered high. The afternoon sun shone through the stained glass near the ceiling. It definitely inspired awe, but like most things, it was a grim reminder of an excess that the commoners would never see. The pews of the cathedral looked like they could host hundreds of people at a time, but it was completely empty, save for a few people standing near the altar. Aside from the servants, most of them were quite familiar. They were all speaking in hushed whispers. I spotted Leif and Miriam as we walked into the room. They both avoided eye contact with us, understandable considering how I had indicted their sister. As soon as they spotted us, they moved their conversation elsewhere. In another quarter of the room, I spotted Von Sanctus and Sybil, the only two who were left. I always seemed to spot them together. Maybe they were friends. As soon as we began approaching them, Von Sanctus flashed us a quick look of disdain. He and Sybil moved their conversation away as well. And finally, there was Prosecutor Steelwind and her father, along with the two princes. Although there was someone speaking to them that I didn't recognize. This guy who, okay, this is the Scaled Lord. I'm saying it right now. This guy is the Scaled Lord. When he noticed us, his face darkened. He stared the two of us down. The Crown Prince especially seemed surprised to see us here. He and Lucio said something to Arya, but I couldn't hear it from where we were. When she responded, Aster's eyes widened while Lucio's narrowed. Isn't it a little awkward? It is, but we have some time before our meeting with Pierce. This is my first time here, too. Do you want to do some sightseeing? Oh, are you asking me out? We are literally already out. Sure, why not? I picked up this map from the entrance. Map of the Grand Cathedral. Yes. I'm kind of curious about why they're all here. It was strange. It was. Okay, I'm going to take my quick break now, and then I will be right back with more. So this is... the setup for this is really cool. Okay, I'm back. Let's talk to Aster. I think I saw Arya over there. We should go say hi. Are you sure? As we approached the group, both the Grand General and the unnamed noble didn't break their gaze with Celeste. Hello. The nobleman's eyes went to me and then Celeste. He scanned the both of us, saying nothing. He then walked away without a word. Rude. Mr. Cuthbert and Miss McCoy, I'm surprised to see you here.
What? I thought you were the one who invited them.
I'm sad to say that I didn't. Although I am happy to see you two, nonetheless. What brings you to the Grand Cathedral today? We were actually invited by another noble. We have a meeting with him.
What? None of the people here are allowed to invite guests. Why didn't the guards stop you?
Oh, they said they were expecting us.
What?
It was Lord Pierce who invited them. What? Now, how does that work exactly? Can you help me wrap my head around that one? That, you know, like the guy who's literally on death row is still invited? What?
Pierce, that little... And to think I granted his request for temporary release.
Oh, okay. I was gonna wonder. I was wondering about that. Like, but why though? Why? I'm sure he meant no disrespect by it. He probably has his reasons.
How can you say that? This is the day of your...
He stopped himself and cleared his throat.
He thinks because he's a dead man that he has nothing to lose. I'll be sure to correct that.
Hey, Aster, you want to look at my runestone?
Presenting your runestone as always, Mr. Cuthbert.
It's a bit of a habit, but maybe I should stop. Don't. You always look so excited when you show it to people. I don't even know what this thing means to me anymore. Oh, no. Oh, is he having a... Is this case going to be a mini Miles Edgeworth in Investigations 2 moment? What am I fighting for? Yeah, there is no reason for me to go on. Why is this happening?
I should have been the one to fill your dark soul with light!
I mean, it's still useful. You can take pictures and write notes about things other than crime scenes. This is true. A letter from Garrick Pierce. You want to see that? What do you think about this, Aster? I'm sorry, Mr. Cuthbert. I don't have much to say about that. Really? What about the map of the cathedral? What do you have to say about Shape Liquid? What about Arya? So, Aster, have you made any progress with Steelwind? Progress? Celeste! Leave the poor girl alone. A gathering of nobles. I have to ask, why are all the nobles gathered here? You've taken over the entire cathedral. Everyone seemed to tense up at that. I'm sorry, but I'm not at liberty to tell you that. It's a matter of public safety. I see. That was a little strange, but I could read the room. I said nothing. Wait, is he being crowned king today? Because it's not the wedding. I think we would have gotten more hints if it was the wedding. Is he like being crowned king? That'd be interesting. Celeste. Oh, Miss McCoy, it's nice to see you again. You look as radiant as ever. Thank you. Arya's mad. Why are you all looking at me like that? Tyrion, it's always a pleasant surprise to see you, Mr. Cuthbert. Really? I honestly thought you'd be angry at us. I don't blame you for what happened with Beatrice, and I'm ultimately glad you caught her in the end. But after what she said during the trial, it frightens me to think about what she might have done with House Frega's resources. I see. Ruby? He has nothing to say about Ruby. What about Lloyd Von Sanctus? No? Man. Lucio? What do you think about the guy who's right over there? What about you? What do you say about you? Tyrion and Celeste.
You said that Lord Pierce invited you here. For what reason?
I can't really tell you that.
You will tell us if it poses a threat to the nobles in attendance.
Please, Grand General, there's no need for that. Mr. Cuthbert would never do anything to put anyone's life in danger.
As you wish, Your Majesty.
Is this the reason why Pierce asked for temporary release? Your Highness, he is being crowned today. Oh! My prediction game is so hot. It is so hot right now. So Pierce was temporarily released to attend whatever this was. I could have met him with him in his cell. Why would he pick such a strange location? Lady Steelwind, Your Majesty, the High Speaker is ready to speak with you. Steelwind's face ran red, as it usually did around the Crown Prince. Her eyes darted around the room. Wonderful. I've been looking forward to this all day. Shall we go together, Miss Steelwind?
Yes, Your Majesty. She would like to accompany you.
We shouldn't keep him waiting. Okay.
Scaled Lord. How does she plan to marry him if she can't even get a word out in his presence?
Seriously. I also have something important to do. Good day to you all.
The little prince trotted out of the room.
His head held high. Isn't that the washroom?
I will be taking my leave as well, but make no mistake, my men will be keeping an eye on you two.
Yeah.
An eye of Horus, you might say.
The room was empty now. It was time to move somewhere else. Can we look around? There are rows upon rows of seats for worshippers to sit at. At full capacity, this room could probably host thousands of people at a time. The stained glass window. A small ray of sunlight is shining through it.
Arcanum.
No magic. Interesting. Okay. Common room. Hey, this room was at the beginning of the thing, yeah. I remember this place. Oh, what are you doing here? Did you follow us? Not intentionally. Trust me. You're the last person we wanted to see today. Huh. If they are here by chance, it is because the cosmic balance wills it so. Anyways, I owe a lot to them. What did she mean by that? Yeah. Well, first, look at this. It's your attorney's runestone. I'm glad you've been keeping it in good shape. Be grateful. You only have access to such sophisticated artificery because of my house's ingenuity. I've been to Arcaris, Lloyd. I'm aware that you stole your designs from them. All right. Let's talk. Coraline Sybil. What did you mean when you said that you owed us? You played your role well. Your actions have brought to light the crimes of William and Lloyd. Nothing has been proven legally. Yet it was evident in every other aspect. You disgusting cur. Her thoughts were livid, but her demeanor remained blank. You and William paid off the representatives within my House of Lords. You two made a complete mockery of everything that my noble house has stood for. And for what? So you could temporarily snatch power away from the Steelwinds? I was merely thinking about the future of my house. You know Lucio can't be trusted. He executed Lady Ophelia, his own wife. The Grand General executed his wife? Is that what really happened to her mom? He was carrying out his duty. Ophelia committed a crime that demanded absolution. I understand that you cared for her, but you're spitting on her memory by using her to justify your actions. Enough. I've had enough to mourn for today. Where in Guard's justice system? Your Grace, this has to have opened your eyes to the corruption in the justice system. You have the power to change it. You have to do something to fix it. How dare you take advantage of her poor mood to plant your insidious ideas? Why the outrage, Lloyd? Should he have given you and William credit for the idea? Mr. Cuthbert, have you ever heard of that saying, justice is blind? Yes, I guess so. That saying is incorrect. Justice isn't blind. It must be kept blind. I'm sure it may look like a naive and blind fool to you. The truth is that I've had my own suspicions of William and Lloyd for years. Every instinct in my body has been screaming that they were plotting behind our backs. What? The fact that he's just over here getting negged, like chain negged, is great. I love it. He's just the slander. The Lloyd slander is so good. That's funny. However, I could never definitively prove it, not even to myself. Humans are inherently flawed. It is our very nature. What many refer to as instinct is simply the drive for an individual's own survival. I would not be arrogant in saying that House Sybil holds the most power among the four pillars. We oversee the exchange of resources between noble houses. We authorize the movement of our forces. The other pillars are the arms and legs of Weirengard, but House Sybil is its beating heart. To put my finger on the scales of justice would be to disrupt the harmony of our system. It would disrupt the cosmic balance. Cosmic balance. What are you talking about? What even is the cosmic balance? It's the natural order of the world. It is the guiding philosophy of House Sybil. It is the belief that everything naturally progresses towards something better. No, it doesn't. I'll go ahead and tell you that. No. Nope. So you just expect things to get better without having to do anything? The people of the kingdom are suffering because of your inaction. My inaction? You place the blame on me, but what about you? You were once a champion of your so-called justice, but you've stopped your work as a defense attorney. How many lives could you have saved in the month that you spent on vacation? It's not his responsibility to clean up your mess. You have no idea how much he's suffered doing this. You're right. He shouldn't bear that kind of responsibility alone. Every commoner has the ability to learn and practice law as you do, Mr. Cuthbert. So why are you one of the few commoners that do so? What I've heard, you're one of the few people who defend mages of the common folk. Every other attorney wouldn't even consider taking them as clients. Perhaps the problem lies in the common folk, then. They are fully capable of rising to defend the innocent, yet they do nothing. Your Grace, you have to do something. You have more power than possibly anyone else in the kingdom. You have a voice. That's precisely why I can't act so recklessly. A power like mine can't be invoked so clumsily. I must trust that the system my family has built will allow the cosmic balance to guide us to a better tomorrow. The rules must be followed. Otherwise, there would be nothing separating us from the animals. I choose to have no voice, because it is my responsibility to make sure that everyone else has one. And what about the late Duke of Finance? Look how easily he bent your system to his own ends. People like you are part of a system as well. Akin to white blood cells in an organism, you sought out the infection and corrected it. It was only out of sheer luck. Do you have any idea how badly William's plot could have ended if it had gone any other way? I'll admit that the House of Lords was far more fallible than I expected, and I'm sincerely thankful that you brought that to light. The system isn't perfect, but incidents like this allow us to prevent such abuse from happening in the future. Like a species evolving over history, like a stream smoothing out the edges of a stone, the cosmic balance will bring us to a better future. That said, while I chose not to have a voice, I think yours could be of great help to us. Shortly after our indictment, Lady Beatrice made a plea deal with Prosecutor Steelwind. Her evidence and testimony have allowed us to arrest several seat members within the House of Lords. There are many vacant seats now. Would you be interested in having one, Mr. Cuthbert? What? Coraline? You can't be serious! I've realized that the House of Lords could use a lot more oversight, something I think you can provide. Of course, I'd need to consult the other representatives, but I think they'll agree. I'll give you some time to think about it. Wait, Coraline! Coraline! The Minister of Justice ignored him and left the room. The Duke of Commerce chased after her frantically. Wow, I wasn't expecting that. The idea is ridiculous. I can understand her worldview in a way. What? She's just using that cosmic balance nonsense as an excuse to do nothing. But think about what it'd be like to have that much power. Everything you do could potentially affect the entire kingdom. Imagine being responsible for the lives of millions of people. Now imagine nobles like William, Lucio, and von Sanctus all trying to manipulate you to get what they want. I don't blame her for not trusting herself to use that power. I don't agree with her, but I'm just saying that I understand where she's coming from. You probably know it better than anyone else. The right thing to do isn't always so plain and simple. I'll admit that she does seem sincere in trying to do right by the kingdom, and I suppose auditing the House of Lords would be a simple thing to do with the High of Horus. Are you going to take her offer? I just sighed and scratched my head. My problems were always with Rearguard's justice system. There were a lot of good I could do if I had a seat at the table, but at the same time, was I really going to jump headfirst into this? It's a lot. I'll have to sit on it for a while. Coraline, wait! Are you seriously going to put that boy in the House of Lords? He admitted that he's a cleric of the theocracy. He can't be trusted. Shut up, Lloyd. What? Coraline, You and William orchestrated the death of hundreds of innocent people behind my back, and yet you feel nothing. What is wrong with you? Well, it was really William's idea. Don't give that trite. You've been like this since we were children. You always lick the boots of whoever you think is strongest and hide behind them like a sniveling child. I may not use my voice, but you just parrot whenever whoever is going to be willing to put up with you. I don't... I can see the truth, even if you can't. You aligned yourself with William because you were too much of a coward to go up against him. You justified it, using your little vendetta against Lucio. All because the Grand General executed Ophelia, the woman you never had the balls to even try to win the heart of. You are pathetic. And I personally hope the House of Lords votes to dismantle House von Sanctus, piece by piece. I will not make the mistake of trusting you again, Lloyd. Oh, man. That was brutal. The sunlight was shining through the glass window. A ceramic altar was at the end of this room. There were candles on top of it made out of pure gold. Running through the glass window. Okay, that's it.
Arcanum.
Nothing in here? Okay. Let's go to the garden, I guess. Yeah, that woman literally just murdered that man. Yes, he is dead. Dead. We explored the pathways surrounding the cathedral. The party hat on top of the horse is very good. The Pegasus. They had created a garden around them. They were filled with flowering hedges, trimmed with the same reverence they held for the Scaled Lord. Celeste walked over to the nearby marigolds and plucked one of them. She turned its stem thoughtfully between her fingers. The petals shone brightly, its golden radiance only rivaled by their reflection in her eyes. Are you okay? She suddenly looked at me and realized I was staring. Sorry. I really had a lot I needed to figure out. I cleared my throat as I quickly walked past her, but I froze as I came across a peculiar statue. Wow, that's a little out of place. What even is it? If my memory is correct, it's a Pegasus. Hello, friends! Beatrice and Tracker stood up from a nearby bench. I didn't even notice them. Beatrice was carrying a leash, which Tracker used to guide her to us. She seemed to be staring past me, only turning her head to face in our general direction whenever we spoke. She was followed by Eris, who was looming behind her. Oh no. Iris flashed me a blank smile as I noticed her. Beatrice, aren't you supposed to be dead? I meant to say locked up, but no, it's perfectly understandable. You, of all people, know what was on my blood contract. But it appears the Empress of Discord isn't going to kill me just yet. Oh boy. Is that really necessary? What? Never mind. Oh. Beatrice's sisters followed behind her. Their eyes never met mine. They didn't seem hostile, and all things considered, I preferred their company over the two pillar heads. The two pillar men. This is the roundabout. Yeah, I don't know. The eldest Frege looked down somberly. She didn't look defeated. It was something else. Was it dread? Well, first, is that your attorney's runestone? Why are you presenting it to me? I present it to everyone. Eris did tell me about that. She kept calling it a badge for some reason. Why do you call it a badge? You wouldn't understand. The meaning is beyond your understanding. Okay. Yeah, you wouldn't get it. That man likes to present his badge, you see? Beatrice Frege. So, you seem to be doing well, all things considered. Right. I suppose you'd expect me to be wallowing in self-pity, crying over the demon that now has ownership of my soul. Nine hells, Heavensborn. I can't stand when you look at me like that. You know, my offer still stands. I can try to help you. At the risk of your own soul. Which part of the contract would you dispute anyway? I couldn't answer. I'd been combing through her blood contract for the last month. I thought of every angle of attack, but there was very little room for interpretation. Believe me, I've had years to look it over. But it's impossible to break. I'm sorry. Don't be. You defeated me. I won't suffer your pity. Eris Ilmater. We always meet in the strangest places, Eris. What are you doing here? I requested to accompany Beatrice to this event. After all, you don't have many opportunities to enter a church like this. I can imagine. Ha! By the way, is your father still... Oh, if you're worried about him, we've already had a conversation about you. I don't think he'll be accosting you anytime soon. Oh, thank you. It sounds too good to be true. How'd you pull something like that off? He may look like a hardened criminal, but he's always had a soft spot for his family. He also owed me, and I have a way of making people see things my way. Beatrice just scoffed when she heard that. Maranoth. Wait, if you're here, does that mean Maranoth is also... Oh, hell no. They'd never let me bring him here, of all places. He's being guarded by the King's Guard near the entrance. If he tries to escape, the knight over there is ordered to kill me. She gestured towards a knight who was silently watching us from afar. You're surprisingly calm about this. I've regularly dealt with demons. This is nothing in comparison to that. You've really changed a lot. Considering how I was before, I'll take that as a compliment. Wait, if Maranoth isn't here, how did you know which statue I was looking at? It was a lucky guess. That grotesque statue certainly makes an impression on you. Oh, Maranoth just spoke with me. He wanted to know that he can smell your celestial stink from the entrance. Love you too, Maranoth. I'm not going to repeat his response to that. Nice. The Heavensborn. I've been meaning to ask. During the trial, you and Maranoth kept calling me Heavensborn. What does that mean? Do you know about my abilities? What? Did you seriously not know? You know how to issue a divine edict. That's a very advanced spell. Do we still have that? No, we don't. I don't really understand it myself, but I learned it after solving a riddle on the Earrings of Vitality. Of course you did. Anyways, I'm quite surprised you don't know about your lineage. Maybe my mother knew, but I lost her when I was really young. I see. You have my condolences. But to answer your question, a Heavensborn is a human whose bloodline has been touched by the gods. I'm assuming you're not talking about the Scaled Lord. No, I'm speaking of the actual gods. Beatrice, you can't say that here. Oh, come off it. What's the church going to do? Arrest me? Anyways, your blood has been touched by the celestials of the upper planes. Much like my soul is tainted and tied to the abyssal hells, your soul is consecrated by the heavens. So I am a cleric, then. You are much more than a cleric. Your kind is nearly extinct. And make no mistake, if you find yourself under the wrong circumstances, even you can be sent to hell. The Celestials. Are there really that few Heavensborn? What about the Theocracy to the west of us? Much like mages, the power of a Heavensborn is passed through bloodlines. Many of those bloodlines have been lost over luminous history. Some were lost in the previous wars, some strayed from the path and were ended by the Theocracy itself. And many were ended by the Celestials' enemies. Era showed up in the background there. Why is Weirengard going to so much trouble to hide this from everyone? The Theocracy has been this kingdom's enemy since it was created. The Illuminati's greatest weapon is their faith. Weirengard has always feared that faith would infect the people like a sickness and destroy Weirengard from within. So like always, it's all about control. It also runs contrary to the Church of Bahamut. The ancient dragons are also an enemy of heaven. They've done their best to wipe out any religions that worship the Celestials. I see. If your bloodline is blessed by the Celestials, does that mean that our kids will also be Heavensborn? What? I suppose to. I think my mother was also a... I paused for a moment, processing what she just said. I asked if your kids will be Heavensborn. Yeah, I had to stop and process it. But wait a minute. Is it half Heavensborn, half dragon? I'm still sticking to that. Oh. What was I thinking? Wow. If only it were always that easy. Anyways, I'm a little curious about the Theocracy of Lumina. Frankly, I'm surprised there's even one living Heavensborn in Weirengard. How did your bloodline find its way here? I suppose I don't really know. My mother never told me much about our ancestry. That makes sense. If the Church of Bahamut knew what you were, they would have definitely hunted you down. And the last thing I needed was another faction that wanted to kill me. Anyways, travel into and out of Weirengard is technically illegal, and I doubt Lord Steelwind would make an exemption for you. After all, House Steelwind suffered the most during the Great Luminite War. Lucio might as well be a veteran of that conflict.
Veteran? Vet?
Oh no.
No, I hate the vet. I'm not going. You'll never take me alive.
As we watched, Tracker frantically ran through the garden, trampling several flowers and barking loudly. He started barking and pooping all over the place. Leif chased after him as he began accosting a passing knight. I should go help her. It's almost 2 p.m. anyways. We should head to the prayer room. Thanks for answering my questions, Beatrice. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help you with this Empress of Discord who's standing right next to you, I'm assuming. She's... she's closer than you think, is what it initially said. There's nothing you can do. Try not to look so defeated. It's almost time for the main event. Why did you bring me here? Oh, who knows? Whatever you're planning to make me do, please. Please don't make me harm my sisters. You're in no position to make demands. You'll just have to wait and see for yourself. Stay safe, Heavensborn. Okay. This statue, I can only feel its suffering. What? Its face is contorted into an expression of pure agony. It screams out in terror, yet no one can hear its pleas for mercy. Someone ignorant of its plight has placed some sort of vain party hat upon its head. It's as if they are mocking its torment, like some kind of demon torturing a polar soul in the fields of Avernus. What are you even saying? I'm sorry. I need to take a moment to think about what I've just witnessed here. We all should. All right, Tyrion, you go do that.
Prepare your Arcanum!
There is nothing. Okay. Well, we've talked all we can talk, so let's go back to the main room. You know, there's part of me that's like, I'm so trained by the Ace Attorney series to expect, like, the date to show up when we're in the right place. But no. What about the common room? No? Oh, no. We've hit the I don't know what to do next button. Oh, the prayer room. Okay. Are you ready? Yeah. At least, I hope so. You can stand guard outside if you want. I only need a few moments to look into his mind. No, I'm the one who asked you to do this, and I'm not going to leave you alone with him. Tyrion? Yeah? Thank you for coming here with me. It really means a lot. Honestly, I think I just needed an excuse to leave the house. It's not just this. You're always looking out for me. You got me acquitted. You helped me see the truth behind my dad. Feels like I can never repay that. What are you talking about? For the past few months, all I've been doing is relying on you. Celeste, I was going to tell you something at the Lord's Ball. I didn't really know how to say it, but... Wait, we're talking about this now? I feel like something always happens, so, I took a deep breath. Celeste, The words trailed off. Celeste, you are very... Damn it, all it was happening again. Come on, I knew what I wanted to say. And I was fairly certain she felt the same way. I took in one last breath. Air filled my lungs, my heart was pounding, sweat was beginning to form under every crevice of my suit. But I pushed everything from my mind, the fear, the anxiety, the hesitation from leaping over the chasm. I steeled my resolve. I was Tyrion, mother effing Cuthbert. I wouldn't let anyone stand in my way. Man, king, or god, but most of all myself. Celeste McCoy, I love... Still went. Arya? How long have you been standing there? Are you serious right now, Arya? Well, I knew you'd be around here this time. I'm so sorry. I didn't know what to do and froze. I wanted to wish you luck, but then you two seemed to be in the middle of something. I was going to leave, but then I got worried I'd draw attention to myself. Don't stop on my account. I'll just get out of your way. As she skittered away, I saw something fall out of her pocket. It was her runestone. Oh, Arya, you dropped something. As Celeste went to pick it up, she accidentally activated it. An image of some evidence appeared for a brief moment, but Arya quickly snatched it from Celeste's hands. Wait, is that why everyone's gathered here today? Celeste, don't just invade her privacy like that. Don't be like that. I'm really happy for you. Thank you. Good luck. A part of me really wanted to know what she saw, but one of us had to exercise some self-restraint. This music's a little different from the rest. I like it. Kind of jazzy. And he wins, and my sail had gone. There was nothing left to push me forward. She just silently walked over to me and planted a kiss on my cheek. I jumped back. My hand went to where her lips had made contact. She just swayed playfully and giggled as she watched the embarrassed look on my face. Tyrion, I already know. You do? Then... But I'm still not saying it before you do. What? You've been stringing me along for a month. That's what you get. Fine, I guess that's fair. I looked at the time. The time of the meeting was approaching. We're going to be late. It's fine. There's always next time. Honestly, this next part will be far easier than saying those words. I straightened my tie and wiped the sweat from my brow before entering the prayer room. Don't invade your privacy. Yeah, the guy who reads minds. Yes. Oh, there he is! Ah, you finally arrived. I suppose this means you finally decided... What? You two? We got your letter. Letter? What letter? You sent us a letter, Pierce. It said that you knew who Celeste's parents were. I did send that letter, but not to you. Ah! Oh! What? What's going on? And so the final act begins. Please, Grand General, I think you're overreacting. I'm sure this is just a practical joke. The Grand General ignored him and continued taking swings at the force field with his great axe. Lucio, you are well aware that you can't destroy this cage with brute force. This accursed spell. It's a nuisance every time I come across it. You, what are you doing away from your post? The knight said nothing in response. He left the room through the east exit. What? How suspicious. That is suspicious. Where are they? Of all the times for those two to disappear. You don't think she's trying to escape, do you? Honestly, I wouldn't put it past... Lazaric... Oh, Asclepius. Lazaric Asclepius, or whatever you want to call him. Hey, Lord Asclepius, did you find Beatrice? I didn't, but there's something else. Someone just trapped His Majesty in a force cage. What? Oh no, did Beatrice... Is force cage even in her compendium? Either way, I think it's safer if we reconvene with the others in the nave. The King's Guard are forming a perimeter. While they wait for the force cage to disappear, we'll be safe there. She'll be fine. She always is. I suppose you're right. Tracker, let's go. Tracker said nothing. He was growling at the pathway leading north. Tracker, I said let's go. I smell evil rats. Evil rats, eh? Yes. They're not reasonable either, I'll tell you that. Not reasonable rats at all. You can chase the rats after the funeral. Let's go. Yes, Queen. The Duke and the Minister turned the corner and fled into the common room. Their assailant wasn't far behind, but hopefully they'd lost her. No, this must be some mistake. I know Miss Steelwind. She would never do this. We can't think about that now. We'll just have to hope that she won't think to look here. Lloyd tried to check Coraline for any wounds, but she just slapped his hand away. Lloyd, just teleport away. Choose a place where your mage blight won't hurt anyone. I am not leaving you alone with her. Do you think your recklessness will earn my forgiveness? Just go. Damn it all, she's coming. Arya Steelwind turned the corner and stood at the room's north entrance. She walked towards the two Pillar Lords without a word or hint of emotion. Oh. Arya, please, I don't know what your father told you, but there has to be another way. We don't need to give in to our primal urges. You are just another bloodthirsty Steelwind! You barbarians have no place in our kingdom! Lloyd, look out. Coraline tackled Lloyd as she foresaw an attack from behind. The crossbow bolt would have pierced Lloyd's heart if she hadn't acted. Instead, the bolt pinned itself in the back of Coraline's shoulder. What the heck's going on? Coraline! It's fine. I can heal this. Well, we can't have that, can we? The shooter stepped into the room from the south entrance, crossbow in hand. Arya did a wonderful job of driving the two of them here. Damn it all! Is this your accomplice? Show us your face, you coward! The assassin said nothing and aimed his crossbow at the two of them. Lloyd stayed silent, but suddenly started breathing more heavily and haggardly. Ah! The Duke of Commerce turned around and tackled Arya to the ground. Again, her face was blank. She didn't seem to be bothered at all. All she did was struggle to break the Duke's grip on her. The assassin was about to shoot, but cursed under his breath once Arya was brought into the line of fire. It wasn't her time yet. She needed to live through this. Lloyd cursed at himself. Even he was wondering what he was doing, as if his body had moved on its own. For that matter, why did he refuse to teleport away as Coraline asked? He had a bunker specifically designed for this. No one would have blamed him. It wasn't meant for combat. Those thoughts were spinning around in his head, but they were being pushed away, overwritten by something he had never felt before. Coraline, run! Get away from here! But go! The minister hesitated, but her survival instincts won over in the end. Is this a Lloyd redemption arc? She ran past Lloyd, who was keeping Arya pinned to the ground. She cried as she ran in terror. The assassin leveled his crossbow at her. The Duke growled in defiance. He shoved Arya away and formed a cross with his arms. Protect! A thin stone layer suddenly formed to cover the entirety of the Minister of Justice's body. A crossbow bolt whistled past Lloyd, but it bounced off of Coraline's hardened skin. She had gotten away. Stone skin doesn't require concentration, does it? Not bad, Lloyd. Who the hell are you? Is this, yeah, Eustace? Is this a Eustace winner kind of arc? The assassin flicked his head toward the hallway that Coraline ran to. Arya immediately stood up. Arya, end her. I'll handle the Duke. Without a word, Arya sprinted from the common room to pursue her prey. So the assassin's got to be somebody we know. Who is it? The assassin just shook his head in disbelief as he leisurely began to load another bolt into his crossbow. Scaled Lord, Lloyd, when did you grow a spine? What do I have to fear from you? I am Lloyd von Sanctus, the Duke of Commerce and Master of Abjuration. So come on, it's time you learned your place, you wretch! For the first and last time in his life, Lloyd von Sanctus stood his ground. Oh, goodbye, Lloyd. Come on, just tell us the truth, Pierce. You are the last person I would give this information to. He was getting more and more stressed, and it was even easier than last time. Just a little more, and I would... A crash rang out from outside. What was that? I'm gonna take a look. Stay here and keep the door closed. What? Are you just going to leave us here? He's right. We don't know what's going on. We should stay together. Don't worry, there were 2 guards outside, and they're from the King's Guard. You'll be fine. That's not what I'm worried about. Trust me, Tyrion, when have I ever lost a fight? She had a point. Fine, just be careful. Yeah. What? It had been almost 10 minutes since Celeste went to investigate the noise. I wanted to reopen the door and check on her, but she told me to keep the door closed. Last time I disobeyed her orders, I got taken hostage and made her job 10 times more difficult. Pierce seemed extremely on edge. He was sitting at one of the tables and impatiently tapped on the wood with his fingers. So, you never intended to send that letter to me. Who did you send it to, then?
Oh, as if I would ever tell you that.
Luckily for me, he had accumulated enough stress by now.
What? Why are you looking at me like that?
Even if I wasn't the intended recipient, you said that you knew who Celeste's biological parents are. Who are they?
Are you seriously focused on that now? It's far too important. It's my only bargaining chip.
One last push. Answer the question, Pierce, or I'll reveal this letter to... What was that? Somnia. What is this? A blue, luminous vapor slipped into the room. It glittered with faint glints of magical light. As soon as it fell over me, I could feel my entire body becoming heavier. I started to slump over. My body was being pulled toward the ground.
A sleep spell?
Sleep. Conjuration. Somnia. An outstretched palm while concentrating. This caster conjures a magical mist in the direction that they stretch their palm. This magical mist will travel up to 30 feet before dissipating. Any creature who inhales the mist will fall into a magical slumber. An affected creature will be woken from their slumber if they are violently shaken or experience any sort of pain.
I miscalculated.
No, if they got here, that means Celeste. I fought with everything I had to stay awake, but it was impossible. My eyes were closing on their own. It felt like my eyelids were being dragged down. I felt myself fade away, but I made one last desperate attempt to keep my eyes open. No. Beatrice, I saw Beatrice Frege. Was losing consciousness. Oh. Is it, I wonder. I was drifting in sleep, but I soon heard a voice echoing in the distance. Rion. Tyrion! What? Celeste? Tyrion, I'm so sorry. I should have listened to you. I should have never left you alone with him. Hey, it's okay. Tears were streaming down her face. I'd only ever seen her like this one other time. I'd held her tightly against my chest. She was practically clinging to me, shuddering with each sob. I just stayed quiet and embraced her as she cried in relief. How long was I out? I scanned the room, realizing that there were other people here with us. Commander White was leading a group of knights. They all had their weapons drawn and were surrounding someone who was lying unconscious in the room with us. It was Steelwind. Commander, I understand your position, but there has to be another explanation.
Look, Your Majesty, I feel about this the same way you do. But it has to be a case of mage blight.
I looked around the room and saw a pool of blood at the other end of the tables. There was even a chalk outline around it already. A horrible realization came over me. Celeste, where's Pierce? She just looked away from me, tears welling up in her eyes again.
I don't know how to tell you this, kid, but he's dead.
What?
Honestly, consider yourself lucky you're in one piece. Whatever you're paying the mage girl, it's not enough.
But who? I looked at the knights who all had their weapons pointed at the prosecutor. You think Steelwind did this? It wasn't just Lord Pierce, Mr. Cuthbert. We also found the bodies of Lord Von Sanctus and Lady Sybil. All of us were attacked, and several members of the King's Guard have gone comatose.
I don't want to believe it, but
several people saw Steelwind acting off at the scenes of each of the murders. We also found her unconscious here. Pierce's body was lying next to her. No, it wasn't her! I saw Beatrice before she passed out. She was the one that knocked us out. Beatrice? What the hell is going on? Suddenly, the knights surrounding Steelwind began shouting. It looked like the prosecutor had regained consciousness. Arya rose limply, still half asleep. Her body was swaying, as if it were taking all of her energy to sit upright. Her eyes slowly scanned the room, noticing the knights who were surrounding her with their weapons drawn. She then noticed the blood on the floor. Her eyes became wide. She quickly raised the palm of her hands. Her gloves were dirty and ripped. Commander White, you need to put me in a holding cell. It needs to be one with an anti-magic field.
What?
I'm not in control of my actions. We need to go now. What are you talking about? Now is not the time. Do it, Commander.
Right.
She lay down flat on the ground, placing her hands on her head. Even in her own arrest, she was taking the lead. I watched as the Inquisition placed a pair of manticles around her wrists. We exchanged glances before she left the room. She just looked down, defeated. Damn it all. What happened? Oh, is Arya going to be our client in classic final case of attorney-based game syndrome? Prosecutor is now our client? I love when that happens. I know you have many questions, Mr. Cuthbert. We should make sure that you're okay. Yeah, there's a necromancer in the nave. I still had no idea what happened while I was asleep, but I could still feel weariness still holding my body. They both helped me up. I made a note of the current time. It was 3:12 p.m. Yes, we're gonna save for sure. Oh, Von Sanctus, man. Why wasn't he killed if we killed a bunch of the nobles? Maybe because he's not one of the, main nobles, I guess? I don't know. I arrived back at the nave, meeting with the necromancer they were talking about. I couldn't stay still, not after discovering what had happened while I was asleep. But he only reprimanded me, telling me that I wouldn't be any good to anyone if I collapsed from an unseen injury. I couldn't really argue against that. Yeah. Nothing seems to be out of the ordinary, except... What? What's wrong with him? If you would just let me finish... There appears to be traces of necromancy on you, Mr. Cuthbert. Necromancy? It's probably a nothing. Did your assistant cast any spells on you? Oh, right. I used mend wounds on him when I found him unconscious. I expected as much, but it never hurts to make sure. Nothing seems out of the ordinary. You're quite healthy. Celeste breathed a sigh of relief as she went to sit down at one of the benches near the altar. She took a deep breath, allowing the knots in her shoulders to unravel. She sat there for a while, eyes staring into space, waiting for the feeling to pass. It seems like the only thing that hit you was that sleep spell. Consider yourself lucky. She didn't even think to check you before trying to heal you. I'd expect a bodyguard to keep a more level head. I just narrowed my eyes at him and said nothing. But I guess no one is ever prepared for when these things happen. I definitely wasn't. You should be fine to go about your business, but feel free to speak with me again if you experience anything out of the ordinary. Thank you, I am Lord Lazarus Asclepius of House Asclepius. The young head of House Asclepius, a noble house known for their knowledge and studies in necromancy. He seems to be friends with Leif Frege. He was wrapped in a large cloak. Every part of him was covered except his face. At first, I found him to be a bit too blunt and standoffish, but it seemed to come from a place of caring. When he checked my body for injuries, his hands and eyes moved efficiently and not carelessly. He looked like someone who was passionate about his work and nothing else. And there are no thanks needed. My apprentice apparently owes you a lot. Apprentice? Wallace Nightgrave. He said he was one of your clients a few months ago. All right, Steelwind did mention that she introduced you to. Speaking of, I'm finding it difficult to believe that she did this. Mage blight isn't exactly a benign condition. When it takes hold of a mage, it doesn't matter what kind of person they are. Violent behavior is almost always a result of the rage-filled delirium it puts them in. It's unfortunate, but mages have to be held responsible when cases like this happen. Unless someone is framing her. Tyrion, I fought her. What? Do you remember back when we heard that weird sound? I went outside to see what was going on. I saw her standing over a bunch of unconscious guards. I tried to ask her what was going on, but she didn't say anything. She just attacked me. She was so cold and emotionless, it almost looked like she was sleepwalking. That's actually pretty strange. What do you mean? When someone is affected by mage blight, they enter a state of extreme psychosis and rage. Psychotic episodes like that raise the affected mage's paranoia to ridiculous levels. That's why these cases almost always end in violence. But from what Celeste said, she wasn't acting psychotic. She was completely emotionless. You might be onto something, Mr. Cuthbert. If what you're saying is true, there has to be more to this. What are you going to do? At the very least, we need to find out what actually happened. But you saw her, right? Commander White, we need to put... Oh, yeah, things that just happened. Okay, yes. She wanted them to arrest her. But something else was happening here with who died. This felt far too coincidental to be a simple accident. Yeah, the 3 pillar houses, besides the one that's already gone. I wasn't sure where each of the murders occurred, but the Inquisition could tell me more about what happened. There was also Steelwind. If she really was affected by Mage Blight, she would remember what may have caused it. I stood up. There was work to be done, and it was about time I ended my sabbatical. Heck yeah. Alright, I'm gonna, file away my, who I suspect. And I'm going to click on the person I suspect is the murderer. I don't like this, because I don't want this person to be the murderer. The assassin, but, boom. Yeah, I think it's Aster. I think Aster is the killer. We know Aster is a fan. It's clearly Tracker, yes. Tracker did it. We know he's a fan of Tyrion. He's a fan a bit of Ruby. He's anti-noble. Yes, see, he's a big admirer of me and Miss Tamora. He hates the injustice. I think he used this to pull off a coup and kill a bunch of the nobles. Oh, Lloyd and Court. Lloyd, you know what? You did a good thing by the end. Let's talk. The investigation. There are still so many unknowns. You should continue looking for more clues. Don't push yourself too hard, okay? I'll be fine. I'm making sure to pace myself. Nixley, where do you think we should go next? Celeste? Oh, sorry. Did you say something? She was probably still shaken up after what happened. It'd be best to take the lead and let her focus on her job. Alright. Let's go to the prayer room, I guess. We arrived at the prayer room. It was now swarming with knights from the Inquisition. I found myself staring at the chalk outline of where Pierce's body once was. Are you okay? Yeah. Now is not the time for an existential crisis. Steelwind's future counted on us figuring out what happened. The Inquisition believes that Steelwind broke into this room, knocked out Pierce and me, and then killed him. But I remember it clearly. I saw Beatrice before I lost consciousness. There was something else happening here. Celeste also fought Steelwind after Beatrice knocked me out. She could tell me more about how she was acting. Fight with Steelwind. Let's review what happened. Before Beatrice knocked me out, we heard a commotion outside, and you went to investigate. Can you tell me more about your fight with Steelwind? What was she like? Well, she wasn't her usual self. It's like she was in some kind of daze. I noticed it before... hang on. Before she attacked me, something was wrong with her. She didn't even respond to me. When I tried to talk to her, it's like she didn't even recognize me. But from what Lord Asclepius said, she would have been acting more erratically if she was affected by Mage Blight. It's possible that you fought someone disguised as her. I guess that's possible. I've sparred with her before. This was definitely different. But whoever they were, their magic was still extremely powerful. You bet it was. And several members of the Four Pillar families were assembled here. They could have been one of them. We should speak with Commander White when we get the chance. The Grand Cathedral was closed to the public for whatever was happening here. They probably have a list of everyone who was present when the murders happened. That meant that whoever did this was one of the nobles who was here today. Beatrice Frege. Beatrice can cast invisibility, so I doubt she'd let you see her. But did you see her at any point when you were fighting Steelwind? Celeste? Sorry, I don't know. I was too focused on staying alive. I've actually been meaning to ask you about that. Aren't you really strong? I've never even seen you break a sweat in a fight before. Well, she was really tough. It was terrifying, honestly. I've sparred with her before, but never with magic. I've never fought someone with spells that powerful before. She didn't hurt you, did she? No, but it got pretty close. I think she realized that she couldn't beat me, so she just ran past me and into the prayer room. So her real target was Pierce, but why? Did you see the moment she murdered Pierce? No, when I arrived at the prayer room, I saw you and Steelwind unconscious on the ground. Pierce was already dead. And I'm assuming you didn't see Beatrice anywhere? No, she wasn't there when I arrived. How did she leave the prayer room without Celeste noticing? Did she turn herself invisible? Celeste's testimony. During the afternoon of the murder, Celeste McCoy heard a suspicious sound and investigated the hallway leading to the prayer room. Okay. The two fought to a standstill. Right. Timeline. We showed up at the prayer room for the meeting at 1:50 p.m. Then we interrogated Pierce for about half an hour. That's when we heard the commotion outside, and we went to investigate it. Right. And I think Beatrice knocked me and Pierce out 10 minutes after that. How long did you fight Steelwind before she pushed past you? We definitely fought for a while. It must have been at least 20 minutes. After that, she gave up on fighting me and ran into the prayer room. Which means that Beatrice somehow got into the room during your fight. That discounts my theory of her disguising herself as Steelwind. I regained consciousness at 3:12 p.m. That meant that I was knocked out for more than 40 minutes. There were still a lot of unknowns about what happened. I'd need all the pieces if I wanted to see the board. True. Okay. Let's talk oh, never mind. We'll look at the badge again. Celeste, it's my attorney's runestone. Celeste! Oh, sorry, I was just... The runestone is very nice, Tyrion. Okay. There's a chalk outline where Pierce's body probably was. It looks like he was sitting against this altar when he died. This bloodstain seems to imply that the fatal wound came from his chest. An autopsy report would be really helpful here. I needed to ask the commander for a copy of it the next time I saw him.
Preparing Arcanum!
All right. There's a trace of transmutation here. It's all over the area around his body. Interesting. Did the murderer wound him using a transmutation spell? Yeah, that's interesting. There are 3 stained glass windows. They look quite nice. There's a, buff dude with a beard, there's an old guy, and then there's presumably the Scaled Lord. There are lanterns hanging around the room. They're still lit. It's pretty lit. All right. Let's go to the nave, the dungeons. We arrived at the dungeon to speak with Steelwind, but we didn't see her anywhere. The Inquisition and the King's Guard must still be processing her. We should come back later. So if Aster is the culprit, that's pretty, like, awful of him to, like, frame his fiancée who's crazy about him. It's a stained glass window. A small ray of sunlight is shining through it. There were rows upon seats. Yeah, we already have seen that one. So there's more in the prayer room, I'm guessing. What are we missing?
Repario Arcanum!
Alright, just... There are traces of conjuration magic all over the room. That must have been left by Beatrice's sleep spell. Oh, okay, we got that. Anyways, it looked like I found everything I could here. It was time to move to somewhere else. Alright, and that's going to open up the common room, and let's go to the common room. Ooh! What the heck? We retraced our footsteps and found the common room. This was the last place I'd seen Von Sanctus and Sybil before everything happened. I looked around. The once pure white room was completely scorched. I could still smell the scent of burnt cloth and flesh in the air. What happened here? Was there some kind of fire? Yeah, we think the perp lit a fire using magic. As we entered the room, Commander White waved us over. He was accompanied by his usual legion of knights. Commander White.
Hey, kid. You investigating what happened, too?
We just went to figure out what really happened.
You and me both. Nothing about this makes any damn sense. I could honestly really use your help in trying to figure this out.
I wasn't sure who I could trust at this point, but like always, the commander was leading the investigation. Alright, look at it.
Kid, why?
It's my...
I know, it's your attorney's runestone, and it proves you're a certified attorney. I caught the last 100 times you waved this thing in my face.
Alright. Let's talk. The murders.
Oh, this whole situation's a damn mess.
Has the Inquisition found any clues to explain what happened?
We haven't exactly had a lot of time.
We've only just received the autopsy reports. And that's still pretty useful. Do you have any copies of them?
Sure, knock yourselves out.
Autopsy report on Garrick Pierce. Okay, died at 2:45 p.m. in the prayer room. Cause of death was blood loss. A shard of frozen liquid was found stabbed through his heart. It was very likely that this was the murder weapon. He died the same way he killed Celeste's father? Oh! Transmutation and conjure... Oh! That's awful. That is awful. Coraline Sybil died at 2:18 p.m. Cause of death was suffocation. Her body was found floating in a nearby lake outside of the Grand Cathedral. Oh. And Lloyd Von Sanctus died at 2:05. The cause of death was suffocation. Burnt the body too much. However, small trace of evocation magic and a burn mark were found on the victim's left shoulder. This implies the body was hit with a fire-based evocation spell. Got it. Wait, Pierce was killed with a frozen blade? Isn't that similar to how he killed Flintheart McCoy? Sorry, I didn't mean to... No, it's okay. I could imagine a scenario where a struggle happened and the killer used whatever was nearby. However, it still felt like a convoluted series of events. The murder of Garrick Pierce. Yeah, that's weird. But why would the murderer do this when they clearly had more lethal spells at their disposal? Pierce used this method during Flintheart's murder to leave as little evidence as possible. However, it's clear the murderer wanted to frame Arya and leave as much evidence as possible. That is a really weird way for him to go. Anyway, the times of death also tell a story. Purely based on the times of death, the murderer must have killed Von Sanctus, then Sybil, then Pierce, in that order.
Yeah, that's our working theory, too.
If we look at the map, we can see where the prayer room and the common room are. Lady Sybil's body was found in the lake west of here. The Grand Cathedral was built on the cliff. There would only be one way for her to reach the lake in such a short amount of time. How did Sybil's body end up in the lake? The murderer threw Sybil from the balcony? The Grand Cathedral was built on a cliff over the lake, and the westward balcony just happens to be right over it.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. We even have a witness who saw Steelwind there.
Really? Who was it?
It was High Speaker Theon Archius.
High Speaker?
He's the shot caller of the Church of Bahamut, and he stands at the top of the religious hierarchy, from what I hear. He spotted Steelwind near the west balcony and noticed that she was acting suspiciously. He called out to her, but she ignored him.
So she knew that he saw her, but she didn't attack him?
Yeah. This whole Mage Blight story doesn't really add up.
Either way, we'll just have to talk to him directly to find out more. Putting that aside, there's something else that's strange. What's that? It's about the order that the murders occurred in. What's strange about the order of the murders? From the times of death, the murderer must have killed Von Sanctus, Sybil, and Pierce in that order. This means that the murderer went to the common room, then the west balcony, and then finally the prayer room. But if we look at the map, the murderer's route seems a bit strange. What's strange about the order of the murders?
Maybe.
The murderer could have killed Archius easily. No, there was a clear route between each of the rooms. What? The murderer would have traveled to the common room, then the balcony, then the prayer room. But there's clearly a more direct path they could have taken if they wanted to murder the 3 victims quickly. The murderer could have quickly killed Archius second, killed Pierce second, killed Pierce with magic. The murderer could have killed Pierce with magic. Wait a minute. What is this? What's strange about the order of the murders? Okay. The murderer could have killed Von Sanctus second, Sybil second. Oh, he did kill Sybil second. Pierce, Archius. Murderer could have killed Sanctus with a weapon. They traveled to the common room, then the balcony, then the prayer room, but there's clearly a more direct path they could have taken if they wanted to murder the 3 victims quickly. Let me see. Let's look at the map again. Alright, hang on. So the common room, prayer room, balcony. Wait. Prayer room, common room. I'm kind of not seeing what they're trying to get at here. What is strange about the order of the murderer? Let's see. The murderer could have purposefully killed Pierce with magic. No. And there was a clear out. So this one is, yeah, this one could have killed Von Sanctus with magic. What about Sybil with magic? No? What is he saying here? The murderer would have traveled to the common room, then the balcony, then the prayer room. Right, hang on. Alright, in that case, common room, prayer room, balcony. So hang on, common room, prayer room, balcony. What if they did prayer room, then balcony? If they wanted to murder the 3 victims quickly. Hang on. Common room, common room, balcony, and then prayer room. Hang on. Common room. Right. They could have killed Pierce second then, right? Yeah. The murderer must have passed right by the prayer room before they dumped Sybil's body. Why wouldn't they just murder Pierce on the way there?
Maybe they wanted to dump Sybil's body first.
Or maybe they were afraid of fighting me.
Aren't you giving yourself a little too much credit?
No, she has a point. Out of everyone who fought the murderer, Celeste was the only one who didn't die or fall comatose. Anyway, there has to be a reason why the murderer deliberately chose that route. The murderer's route. Judging from time of death, the murderer went from the common room to the balcony and then to the prayer room, in that order. Yeah. I had created a rough outline of the murderer's actions, but the real clues would lie in how each of the individual murders occurred. First, I need to figure out how Von Sanctus was murdered. Let's look. There's a chalk outline in the center of the room. This must be where they found Von Sanctus's body. A body has been discovered! There's even bits of ash there. It must be the burnt remains of his body. Oh, poor Von Sanctus. Scorch marks, fire must have spread pretty far.
Yeah, it was probably going for a while. No one even noticed it until Prince Alaric told the Kingsguard that he saw smoke.
Interesting. We should speak with him and see if we saw anything else. Okay. Even now, the sunlight is shining through the stained glass windows. It looks like the fire reached them before it was put out. Okay. How were the bodies discovered? When did they discover the bodies? Who came across them?
It all started when Prince Alaric ran up to us. He told us that he saw a fire breaking out in the common room. He also saw Steelwind there. When he tried to talk to her, she hit him with some kind of spell.
She attacked one of the princes?
Yeah, but it didn't sound like she hurt him. Lord Asclepius inspected him, and he told us he wasn't injured.
I'm glad that he's okay, but wouldn't Arya have used a more violent spell if she was affected by Mage Blight?
It's possible she was throwing spells randomly, and he just happened to get really lucky.
I suppose that's possible, but was there anyone else nearby when this happened? I would have expected a Prince of Weirengard to be under constant guard.
Yeah, that was kind of my mistake. I ordered the knights to give him some space, considering what just happened.
And that would be?
Sorry, kid. If you don't know, it's not my place to tell you. I have orders from the top to stay quiet about that.
Then I would need to ask someone higher up. It was still strange, though. Why were all the nobles gathered here?
Anyways, whatever the perp hit him with, it only put him in a daze. He could barely walk or talk. He couldn't even approach us until the spell had worn off.
That's suspicious.
The weirdest thing about it was that he should have been pretty close to where we were. But for some reason, we didn't find him until after the spell wore off.
That must have been traumatic. I hope he's okay. But why didn't anyone see him during this time?
After he told us about what was happening, we went to put out the fires. That's when he saw a bunch of guards knocked out outside the prayer room.
Did you see me?
No, this all happened around 3:10 p.m.
Right, that was probably well after Steelwind moved into the prayer room. Celeste might have already followed her into it. The report. The Inquisition discovered something was wrong with when Alaric de Weirengard reported that a fire had broken out in the common room. He also told them that Arya Steelwind cast a spell on him earlier that severely debilitated his senses. Okay? The comatose guards. When you arrested Steelwind, I recall you mentioning that a bunch of guards were comatose. Did the murderer use some kind of spell to knock them out?
They didn't. I'm just as lost as you are about that. Some of the victims didn't have any magical traces on them. We know that they're not under the effects of a spell, but they still haven't woken up.
That's odd, to say the least. Is there any common thread between the knights who fell comatose? That might help us deduce what happened to them.
Well, we found all of them near the common room and the prayer room, all the locations where Steelwind was spotted. That can't be a coincidence.
So it wasn't random, yet it wasn't the effect of an arcane spell. Comatose Knights. Got it. Arya Steelwind. Commander White, you keep saying the perp instead of Steelwind, even though everyone else seems to think she was responsible for this. Do you also suspect that she's being framed?
It just doesn't add up. If she did give herself Mage Blight, her actions wouldn't have been so deliberate.
And she's definitely not the type of person to just go around murdering people.
Even if she was, she's led a lot of the Inquisition's investigations recently. She's investigated plenty of homicides with us, and she knows exactly how we do things. Whoever did this got the job done, but they were sloppy about it. A bunch of witnesses saw her. She didn't even try to hide herself using her magic.
Either she had mage blight, which doesn't match her behavior, or she did this intentionally and wanted to get caught. Neither scenario makes any damn sense. Someone has to be framing her. That's the only reasonable explanation. Honestly, I'm not so sure about that either. What do you mean? You saw her when we arrested her, didn't you? She wanted us to lock her up. It's like she thought she was a danger to herself and others. Right, that's the same impression I got as well. If it weren't for the witness's statements, I'd be sure she gave herself mage blight. The strangest thing is that I've never seen her that scared before. Something really rattled her about what had happened. Beatrice Frege. Did you follow up on what I said about Beatrice? I know she was in the room with Pierce and I fell unconscious. She has to be involved in this somehow. Well, she's already in prison, so we're already ahead on that account. But when we asked her what happened, she said that she couldn't remember anything. That's such an obvious lie. She has to be hiding something. Normally, I'd agree with you, but she's not the only one with missing memories. Steelwind also can't remember anything. What? I just have to speak with her about that later. Anyways, what about Eris and the knight who was guarding her? Did they see anything? Sorry, kid, but Eris Illmater has been missing since everything went down. What? I wouldn't be too worried. A witness to the crime is missing and possibly hurt? Look, kid, you may be a hotshot attorney, but I've been in this business a lot longer than you have. Sometimes when these things happen to civilians, they get spooked and run away. I've seen it a million times. Eris was the daughter of a crime lord. I doubt she was in any rush to speak with law enforcement. We don't have the resources to look for her, but I'm sure she'll turn up eventually. Well, I suppose we can't do anything about that now. Anyways, what about the knight guarding Beatrice? Surely he didn't go missing as well. Oh, that's the thing. The knight who was supposed to be watching her was one of the guards who went comatose. We found him in front of the prayer room, too. Wait, did he follow Beatrice to the prayer room? To make matters worse, that Frege chick knows how to cast invisibility. So even if she was telling the truth, very few people would have actually seen her. Beatrice's actions. I saw Beatrice Frege. Could have been an illusion. Right, a knight was assigned to guard Beatrice and kill her if Marnoth attempted to escape. He was later found comatose in front of the prayer room. Eris Illmater, who was also Beatrice when she disappeared, has been missing. Right. Would you happen to have a recent version of her spell compendium? Sure. We already have it on record. Alright, it contains the formulas for the following spells. Familial Bond, Sleep, Mend Wounds, Send Message, Animate Corpse, Necrotic Blight, Shatter, Invisibility, Feign Death, and Illusory Disguise. Got it. Familial Bond, yeah, similar. Mend Wounds, we've seen that one. Send Message, Malum, none, 1 hour. For the duration of this spell, the caster projects their voice to communicate with a target. Anyone within a 30-foot radius of the target can hear the caster's voice. The caster can also hear sounds close to the target, allowing for two-way communication. The target must be a person known to the caster. That person must also be conscious, otherwise the spell will fail. Alternatively, the target can be an object that is attuned to the caster's magic. Animate Corpse, we've seen that one. Necrotic Blight, we've seen that one. Shatter, Cretia, while concentrating. Channels the caster's magic in any physical object. If enough magic is channeled, the object may shatter or break. The intensity, oh, never mind. Invisibility, we know. Feign Death, Foul Norma. The target must target a creature that's already unconscious. While they concentrate on this spell, the target will appear to be dead. Oh. Illusory Disguise, we know of, yeah. Right, I forgot how many spells she used during Lord Frege's murder. The first victim, Lloyd Von Sanctus. It's all a little difficult to take in. I still can't believe it. After everything he did, Von Sanctus was just murdered. I'm surprised to hear that from you. Didn't he basically get away with almost blowing up your hometown? The way I see it, he got what he deserved. That still doesn't sit right with me. No matter who the victims might have been, no one deserves to die like that. And Tyrion doesn't know he went out like a boss. You're definitely a bigger man than I am. Anyways, Von Sanctus's autopsy report says that he died of suffocation. We think the murderer overpowered him and choked him with a rope or something. That hardly sounds like something someone would do during a psychotic episode. Yeah, well, the more info I collect, the more I think you might be onto something. But either way, the fire that the perp started in this room burnt his body. It didn't completely turn it to ash, but there's not a lot left. Huh. So that fire would have burnt away any evidence of the minor wounds he had. Yeah, we're lucky we even discerned he was hit with an evocation spell. Right, the autopsy report mentioned that too. But if a fire was started, is it possible that he died from smoke inhalation? No. The divination spell we use always identifies smoke inhalation as death by poisoning, not death by suffocation. I suppose that kind of makes sense. Spell compendiums. While we're at it, do you have any records of each of the victims' spell compendiums? That might help us understand what each of the victims was doing during the attack. Sure, knock yourselves out. Pierces. Yeah, we know it. Prestidigitation, Conjure Light, Conjure Water, Frost Wave, and Shape Liquid. Sibyl's spell. Slow Fall, Foresight, Strike True, Detect Magic, Stone Skin, and Mend Wounds. Von Sanctus. Mage Blade, Force Cage, Send Message, Stone Skin, Mend Wounds, Familial Bond, Teleport, and Summon. Prestidigitation. Yes, we know that one. Conjure Light. We know that one. Conjure Water. We know that one. Frost Wave. We know that one. Force Cage. Forzare. For the duration, the caster creates a magical 10 by 10 by 10 foot cube around a target within 30 feet of them. The walls of this cube are impenetrable and cannot be destroyed by anything, not even by spells that can normally dispel spell effects. Really? That seems broken. Furthermore, any attempts to magically teleport it into or out of the cube will fail. If there is more than one creature in the target space, they'll be pushed away from the center of the cube. Mage Blade, Transmutation, Arcane. Yes, we know that one. Slowfall, Fithura. The caster counteracts the force of gravity affecting them, causing them to fall significantly slower. Okay. Foresight, Forheim, form a triangle, 24 hours. The caster invokes the ultimate form of divination magic, the glimpses of the near future. While the spell is active, the caster is able to sense danger seconds before it actually happens. Strike True, Divination, Non-Optima. Mark circles with fingers. The caster increases their ability to predict the results of all their actions for the duration. This is useful for the purpose of aiming or doing other activities. Got it. Detect Magic, Divination, Reparo Arcanium. While concentrating, the caster can see the... Reparo Arcanium, sorry. Repario Arcanium. Stone Skin, Tur Protect. We did see that, yes. Teleport, we know that one. Summon, we know that one. Okay. Wow, that's a lot to work through. Yep, this is what happens when a bunch of mages are caught in the middle of a murder. Honestly, you've been lucky until now. Nevertheless, I'll need to look over each of these spells when they become relevant. That's it? Okay, I thought we were going to talk about the second murder, but maybe he's going to go with us. Remember when I was your boss? That was kind of fun, wasn't it, buddy? All right. Let's go to the Cathedral Garden. It was just me, Celeste, and the statue. The horrible statue. I don't feel safe here. Why is that statue freaking you out so much? That Pegasus is literally a celestial like you. I don't know, but I can feel it suffering through the eye. It's an inanimate object, Tyrion. Let's move somewhere else. All right, whatever it takes to get you to stop acting so weird. What goes through the mind of such a tortured creature? What is it with you in this statue? I don't know, but I can feel its emotions as if they were my own. It's an inanimate object, Tyrion!
Repario Arcanum!
Yes, it is. That's fun. Why does he hate... Well, what is up with that? The Wrathholm Dungeons yet? No. What about the prayer room again? No. I guess the main hall? The nave? No. Common room. Is there more in the common room, I guess, that we haven't seen? Oh, we haven't detected magic yet. You know what? I think we're going to call it for tonight, and then we'll detect magic next time. We're going to start out with that. All right. This is cool so far. The setup on this is lit. I am still predicting Pierce is our baddie, but we will find out soon enough. Yes. Indeed. All right, anyway. See you next time. Bye.